Howdy there, young'uns. Silvermongoose here, back again for another episode of Gaming Favorites. And today we are going to be talking about Pokemon. The games, the shows, the movies, the cards, just whatever comes to mind. We're going to be talking about the social phenomenon as a whole, because really it's all related to gaming. And today I have two guests, both of them returning guests. The first guest is Ryan or ZeldaGameGod. How are you?
Hey, fellas.
And my second guest is ONLYUSEmeFEET, or
Hey
AJ.
guys, what's going on? ONLYUSEmeFEET here. Glad to be here.
And yeah, so Pokemon. So we're going to start off like we usually start, and I'm going to ask Ryan to just basically tell us about your earliest memories of Pokemon.
Okay, earliest memories. That would, of course, be Red and Blue. But the thing about that is, I never actually really knew how to play them when I first got the games. It wasn't until like later on when I started playing like Fire Red and Leaf Green, the remakes, that I understood the mechanics. But I still like tried really hard to like understand them, because like I got a Game Boy with like a used Game Boy with like a bundle of games, and one of them was Pokemon Red. And so I was like, wow, Pokemon, because my friends I always knew played Pokemon, and they cheated. They used like rare candies to like buff their Pokemon up to level 100, which is like really not very good for them, by the way. But they like they'd always give me the Game Boy and be like, "Here, can you just like press A for like 10 minutes for me?" And I'd just be like their lackey sitting there pressing A, and I had no idea what was going on in this game, but I knew I wanted to try it. But yeah, that's my first experience. I was Pokemon effectively introduced me to the concept of slavery. Is what I'm saying.
Awesome.
I guess I'll go second just because mine is somewhat related.
Alright.
I remember, at least where I lived, Pokemon didn't really catch on until about Yellow came out. I mean, Red and Blue, like some kids had Red and Blue, but it wasn't really like a phenomenon yet. So I remember being on the school bus and someone passed me their Game Boy, and they're like, "Can you keep pressing A?" Because they were fighting the Elite Four. And I guess Pokemon had been out for a while, or they were insane into Pokemon because he had 6 Mewtwo's. So basically,
Wow.
he's just like, keep using this move. I'm like, Psychic. He's like, it's called Psychic. I was like, oh, okay, sure. And he's like, just keep using Psychic, and you'll win. And I was like, oh, okay. This is kind of weird, and I had no idea what Pokemon was. But I was like, this is kind of cool because I'm kicking butt over here. Like, I'm beating all these guys that are apparently the boss of the game, and I'm doing great. And yeah, so that's what introduced me to Pokemon, and that's, I don't know why, but that was enough for me to just want to go out and buy it. It was kind of weird. Whenever I was a kid, all it took was me to play a game, and I was like, yeah, I'll buy that. I don't know anything about it, but I played it for 5 minutes, so that's cool.
With hacked
awesome.
Mewtwo's.
You don't know if they were hacked. He could have traded them with people,
I call hacks.
or he could have reset it like 6 times. You don't know.
Yeah.
So that's my very first experience with Pokemon. Also slavery, I guess, but a bit less
totally.
so. So AJ, how about yours?
Alrighty, well, my first experience was probably when I was about 4 years old. I know, I'm telling my age. My brother got both Red and Blue, and somehow he had 2 Game Boys and a link cable. So we were at a hotel one night, and everyone was pretty bored. So he just whipped out his Game Boy and was like, "Here, fight me in a link cable battle." And keep in mind, I couldn't read back then at all. So I'm just looking at like these 6 Pokemon, never seeing the franchise before. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll fight you. Of course, I got my face crushed in. I had no idea like the levels or the moves or anything like that. But I got the first experience of mine was actually link cable battle. So that's pretty cool. Although I sucked at it.
Yeah, well, that's expected. It's actually a pretty complicated game if you don't know anything about it. It's really hard to picture not knowing anything about Pokemon. But if you
Yeah.
try to think back in the day, it's pretty complicated with the whole people being super effective against other people. Because whenever you're like 4 or 5 or whatever, and you're trying to use like a normal attack against like a rock Pokemon, and it's not doing anything, you don't understand why. It doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense to you. But it's interesting that you mentioned the link cable because after that experience, I told my mom, I was like, for Christmas, can I have Pokemon? And she's like, okay, whatever, I'll get you your Pokemans. And she bought my brother a red Game Boy Pocket and Pokemon Red, and then bought us a link cable and was like, now you guys can both play. And I'm like, that's not how it works, Mom. Thanks. 'Cause you know how moms are. And
Yeah.
so I had to go out and buy it myself, and this is probably one of the first games I actually bought by myself. And I had like this huge moral debate of whether I should buy blue or yellow, which just came out. And I think, honestly, I thought about this for like a week, which is whenever you're a kid, is a really long time to think about anything.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah, basically.
And I was like, should I get yellow because it has Pikachu and it's the newer version? But then I don't think I'll be able to actually catch 150 because my brother has red, and I don't think red and yellow or yellow and blue you can catch all 150. Because I think
you can come close, but
Yeah.
it's like 140 total, maybe.
yeah,
Can you do that with just yellow though? Like you can't do that with just yellow either, can you?
No.
no.
can't.
If you're yellow, I guess you need to know people that have red and blue.
You did the
Yep.
hookups, man.
But
Yeah.
but you have Pikachu right off the bat, which is Pikachu's actually a really good Pokemon. And I mean, I guess you can catch them pretty soon after. I think you get to Viridian Forest, you can catch one. But
Yeah, they're a little rare, but you can catch them.
Yeah. Takes a while.
So I had to go out and buy it myself, and I ended up buying blue because my brother had red, and you know that "Gotta catch 'em all" slogan was like slammed into my brain like everywhere I went. So that's why I ended up getting blue.
Awesome.
And I really really loved it. I think the thing for me that was so interesting was that like the creator kind of intended, it really kind of captured that that feeling of, well, first off, like catching bugs and stuff, because I loved catching bugs as a kid. Like I would catch like butterflies and put them in jars and poke little holes in the top and then keep them for like an hour till they died, because that's what you do when you're a kid. And I'd like catch snakes and frogs and stuff like that. So it kind of had like that catching element to it, but it also had, I don't know what about it was so cool, but like the first like 150 Pokemon were like amazing. I thought they were so fantastic and the coolest thing ever. Like even before the show, and I think also another part of it that was really great was that you had so many. I mean, it's an RPG, but you technically have like 150 like characters you can choose from, and I don't know how many combinations that makes, but that's a lot of freaking combinations. So
Yeah,
It's a lot.
definitely.
It's a lot.
So one of the great things about it was that it had tons of replay value. Like I've probably played Pokemon Blue through about, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 times at least, like since it came out, and pretty much every time I've used different Pokemon. And there's still like how many I could use? Like still another 100 I could be using. So the replay value was like insane. So I think even as a kid, I think I played through like probably 3 times in a row. And I think that's what I loved about it, was that the fact that there were so many options and there was such replay value. And also part of the social phenomenon with catching them all. What did you guys like about the first game?
Well, the first game, like, basically just, like, the size of how many Pokemon that you could, like, catch. I mean, it just, like you said, made so many different combinations of just ways you could go about playing the game. Like, the reason that it's fun to replay is because you can be, like, I like to play it now and just be like, well, I know this team sucks, but I'm just gonna try a different crappy team anyway because I want to use different Pokemon. So you can catch like ridiculous teams and just challenge yourself in that way, or you can just catch your favorites. And collecting was a big part of my I don't know, just like one of the things I did. I like to collect a lot of stuff. So that was me. Pokemons.
I don't know
Collecting in video games.
I don't know if that's
Awesome.
like a cultural thing with collecting, or I don't know if that's a child, not a, I guess like a childhood instinct to collect things. I don't know if that's, because if you think like, nature-wise, if you found something you like, you should be collecting it. Like food, you should be collecting all that food you can. And I don't know if that's part of it or part of just the cultural phenomenon where they're like, okay, you're going to collect baseball cards. Okay, you're going to collect Pogs. Okay, you're going to collect Crazy Bones. Okay, you're going to collect Pokemon. Okay, you're going to collect, like, it's a good, I guess, marketing tactic to get you to collect as
I
many
will,
things as possible.
I will bring this up in my cultural anthropology class.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, you
Maybe
should.
I should. I should.
And it's interesting that you also mentioned that you try to make terrible teams and go through the game to make it interesting. Because I remember doing that. I remember in
Yes.
Silver, I used like a Dunsparce through the entire game, and he's a terrible Pokemon. From what I remember, the only thing good about him is that
Does
he
that thing
has
even evolve?
no.
No.
um,
It's too good, too OP. Get 6 of those. That's it.
Yeah.
I think the only
of
good
those.
thing about Dunsparce is that he has a lot of health. From what I
Well,
remember.
Actually, when I first started playing the games, I don't know if you guys ever did this, but I used to just raise my starter, and like basically I had other Pokemon, but they were kind of just used as decoys. Like if I needed to heal my Charizard, I just send out like my level 10 Pidgey, like in the Elite Four. I sent out my like level 10 Pidgey, and it'd get killed while I was healing my Charizard up, and then I just send Charizard back out.
I definitely didn't do that, but I knew kids that did that. Like that would. I remember there was a kid that was even younger than me playing Blue, and he had, by the time he got to Misty, he had like a Blastoise, and that was his only Pokemon, and it wouldn't listen to him half the time, but the time that it did listen, it would like kill something in one hit, and I don't know. I never did that. So what did you like about the first gen, I guess, Ryan? Or AJ. Sorry, I'm mixing it all up. I'll call you ZeldaGameGod and you AJ. So one real name and one fake name. It'll make it easier.
Okay.
AJ, what did you like
Yes.
about the first gen?
My favorite thing from first gen actually wasn't the collecting. You guys were talking about, I love to collect, etc. And for me, it was more, I like to get one Pokemon that I really like, say, Charizard. I had Red, and he was like my favorite Pokemon back in the day, etc. So I would much rather get him and raise him up to level 100 and collect like all 150 Pokemon or whatever.
So I'm guessing you didn't catch them all.
Nope, never did. I got all the trading cards, but never got all the ones in the game.
Did you catch them all, Game God?
Um, I don't know. I mean, by the time I really got into the trying to catch them all, I was in the remakes. So I mean, by then there's just too many to catch. But I might have gotten all 150, but I don't remember if I got all original 150 or not.
I think I actually got 149, but I convinced myself as a kid that I caught them all. So, and as I got older, I started to believe it, and now I don't know if I actually caught them all or not. I have a feeling I didn't, and then I just told myself I did. So, I think the last Pokemon was a Jolteon, and I couldn't find anybody that had a Jolteon. Everybody either had Vaporeon or Flareon, so I couldn't do it.
I had one. Should have got in contact with me. Would have
It's
gave
like-
you one.
With like a 6,000 kilometer cable, link cable.
Yeah, just a giant link cable. Yeah, would have totally gave it to you.
That game was probably like the only game that people actually used the cable for. Like originally, like nobody was ever like scrambling to get a cable to play Tetris against each other or anything. It was all
It was
for
how people like me made friends.
it was all for
Yeah.
Pokemon. But I remember doing that, and part of it too was not only trading the Pokemon, but you needed to trade some to evolve them, which was a big deal. Like you needed to, I think, Graveler to get to Golem. You needed
Yeah.
to trade, and Haunter to Gengar. So I remember being on the bus and like, oh my god, this girl's stop is coming! Hurry, hurry, trade, trade, trade! And then trading like Pokemon just to get them to evolve. And I don't know, it was really weird because you would like talk to, like you said, people you don't even know, and you're like, hey, do you happen to have that Hunter? I need to, I need myself a Gengar, so I can trade, and I'll trade him back, and it'll be in my Pokedex, and it was a really really weird time. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like you have to. It's like the people with more friends are better at the game.
Oh, one thing that was really weird was my brother. He said he caught them all, and interestingly, I don't count him as actually catching them all because he had a Jolteon that evolved from an Eevee without a stone, and I actually thought that was like a personal game glitch. But then actually yesterday I was looking into Pokemon stuff, and I found out that It might have been because he had a Growlithe in his party or something. And
Yeah, yeah, I've heard about that. I saw something on Did You Know Gaming. I'll look that up actually fast.
yeah,
Did you know? Yeah.
it was really cool. Have you heard about this, Game God?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, so well,
No.
you know that certain Pokemon need stones to evolve, right?
Yeah, yeah, I know that.
So apparently, the code of some Pokemon have the same code as using a stone. So if you have like a Growlithe who has like I think the number was like 21 or something, that's his code. 21 is also the code for using a Thunderstone. So if you have a Pikachu and you're attacking something, and then you switch to Growlithe and attack with Growlithe and then win, then it'll trigger the game to thinking that you use a Thunderstone on Pikachu. So then Pikachu will evolve to Raichu.
Uh,
So and there's like a certain Pokemon for each stone that you can use that with. And I think that that actually might have been what happened to him back in the day. It took me like 10 years to find out, but now I know how
just
he did it.
researching painstakingly.
No,
all these years.
I just like personally just thought it was like a personal glitch, you know, because back then like games, especially Pokemon, like glitched out all the time. Especially so I figured it was just
Yeah.
like a personal glitch, and I was like, "You didn't catch all 150, I did." And then that's probably why I was so angry at him about it, because I was trying to convince myself that I caught them all. But
Speaking of glitches, though, did you plan on bringing up Missing No?
heck yes,
Oh yeah, totally.
that's a huge part of Pokemon culture. Was
Yeah.
Missing No.
The thing about like I said, I played the remakes mostly. I never really got to experience like firsthand that Missing No experience. Why don't you guys tell me that?
I got the perfect experience for you guys. So, what happened? What ended up happening in my life is I did not get Pokemon Red until a couple years later because I could read by then. I was a bit slow on the whole reading thing, but I also got Silver. So I was mainly playing Silver, but I really wanted to be Red. So I cheesed out and I let one of my friend's brothers, borrow my Pokemon Red game. And I'm just like, get me past. I needed a copy in Celadon City or whatever. And I had no idea how to do that. And I don't even think they really hint at it. But I was stuck there, so I'm like, hey, get me farther in this game. So I get the game back, and I noticed areas, when I would load a new area, it would freeze. And I'm like, why is it freezing? So anyways, I found out that I had a ton of rare candies. And so, and then I found out also there was a Missing No on my PC. So I'm like, that's why.
I remember hearing people saying like, "Don't catch Missing No, don't catch Missing No, it'll mess up your game." I actually caught him twice and actually used him for the longest time, and my game never had any problems whatsoever.
Lucky.
One thing I would do actually is whenever I'd link battle people, I would use Missing No as my last Pokemon. So if I was really losing, I'd bring out Missing No and it would freeze their game. And I would be
the
like,
ultimate Pokemon.
and,
Yes.
I would be like, oh, I don't know what the problem is. It's supposed to be like a Charizard. I mean, geez. I guess it's a draw. So bye. My turn on the bus. See ya.
That's like taking the concept of like you're losing at like Street Fighter and like right before you die you just turn off the system. It's like the same thing. Like, oh, you're gonna beat me? Well, take this and screw up your game.
Yeah, pretty much. It was pretty
Block
awesome.
this.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. But yeah, Missing No was it was really interesting because like this was probably the last, I guess the last few years before the internet was really readily available to most people. So rumors were still rumors, and there were a lot of rumors for original Pokemon. But the big one was Missing No, and for those that don't know, I don't know, there might like a lot of younger people listen to my videos, so maybe they don't know. But Missing No was basically it was a cheat or a glitch, whatever. Where what you would do is you would talk to this old man in this one town. He'd teach you how to fight Pokemon. Then you'd fly to Cinnabar Island, and then you would surf half on the ground and half on the water. So just right on the beach, and then eventually you'd run into a Pokemon called Missing No, which I think was. I don't actually remember what Missing No actually is. I think he's just junk data or something. and so he's basically just like a big blob of like ones and zeros and pieces of other Pokemon. And if you after that battle, I think it's like your 11th slot or your 9th slot,
Sixth.
your 6th slot,
Sixth.
and your items would multiply to 99.
Yeah, actually, it's 129. Like the 9 turns into like a garbage data like little square block, and you actually get 129 items in there.
But it says 99, right? Doesn't it?
No, it's like garbage block 9.
Oh, okay. So it gets you like
That's
129 items, and what everybody did was put rare candy in there. And the rare candy is obviously a rare item that instantly raises your Pokemon by 1 level if you give it to it. It's basically steroids. So you can get
kids.
Yeah, you can get infinite steroids to like pump up your kids. But actually, I later learned that they're actually weaker when you do that.
Yeah. No, don't do it, kids. Stay off the candies.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're actually weaker, and the reason I found out later is because of the EV stuff. Do you guys know about that?
Yes, and
Oh yeah.
don't ever EV train unless you seriously.
So why don't GameGod? Why don't you explain? Because I don't know much about it. Why don't you explain to?
Okay, it's been a little while, but I'll see if I can. Basically, Pokemon have these little hidden stats where, like, say you beat like a Geodude with one of your Pokemon, it'll get like a little hidden stat called an EV. But that's basically like Geodudes are defense, and each Pokemon like stands for some kind of EV stat. And for every 4, you get 1 extra point in that stat when the Pokemon levels up. But the Pokemon only has like, I forget what number it is, but like so many EV levels before.
31.
Yeah, well, like he knows the numbers better than I do, I'm sure. But like, basically, you can like manipulate those stats to like boost, like super raise one of your Pokemon to a certain stat. Like that's what the Carbos and the Iron drinks, they raise your EV points as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so like if you wanted to have a fast Pokemon, you'd basically go around like killing all Zubat until all your EVs are full. And then if you wanted to get so people who are really, really into Pokemon, like you guys, I guess, spend a lot of time like specifically like basically genetically engineering your Pokemon as you go.
Well, the hard thing about it is the game doesn't keep track, so you have to keep track. So I mean, it's just a pain.
Well, because the whole system is like completely unknown. Like they don't tell you about it anywhere. The creators like pretend it doesn't exist. I don't even know if people knew about it first gen.
Nobody I knew knew. Yeah, nobody I knew about it back then.
I didn't know about it until around like before Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out.
And I'm wondering why they did that. I'm wondering if they pictured it being able to use to customize Pokemon, or maybe they just wanted each individual Pokemon to actually be individual.
Yeah, well, I think that's it. Like they wanted like Pokemon, they don't want them to level up like all the exact same way. They wanted to have like a hidden element of like depth to it, to where like if you knew like how exactly like Pokemon could grow, then you could manipulate that to your favor. Just like training them in a very specific way. But if you didn't know, like it just added that extra element of like, differentiating the Pokemon.
Which is really interesting, because they really didn't have to do that. I mean, they already had 150 different characters you could be using, and then they decided to add like that other layer of depth, which I think is it's
mostly for like competitive too. Like you really wouldn't need to do that in the main game.
Yeah, but I don't think I don't think Game Freak knew back in 1996 that Pokemon was going to be a competitive game, like it's tournaments and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Definitely a good point.
So the other big glitch, or not big glitch, but I guess big rumor, was the Mew rumor.
Oh yes, that one.
So the Mew rumor, from what I remember, I've heard different versions, but the most popular one, from what I remember, was that you would go to the first town and use Surf to go to an island, and the island has a truck on it, a moving truck, for no reason. And then you take your Machamp or Machoke or whatever of a certain level with, what was the strength? A certain level, and then you had strength, and you'd use it, and then you could move the truck, and underneath the truck would be Mew, and then you could catch Mew. And, yeah, that was totally false. The truck is there, but there's nothing you could do to move it. And I don't know if did you guys hear different versions of that, or?
No, it's pretty much what I heard.
No.
Isn't
Yeah,
there like
that's
an
what I
item
heard.
under the truck though? Just like a small item, like a
Mm,
potion or something.
I don't think there's anything under there.
Yeah, I don't think there is. But what I find cool is the fact that in the next game, and this is probably unintentional, but in Silver, there's a Machop that knows Strength, and this is kind of similar. And Vermilion City, I believe. And if you like open your coin case, this is in like Silver and Gold, by the way. If you open your coin case, then like talk to the Machop, like all the colors in gold or silver will go to like purple. It's really weird, but I don't know. I have no idea if that was like intentional or I don't know, but I just found that I always link that to the Mew rumor for some reason.
Because Mew's purple, I guess.
Yeah,
And it makes
I guess.
sense. But, I mean, the thing is about... I mean, it's really hard to explain to somebody who wasn't, like, alive back then why this was such a big deal. And it's because, like, you couldn't look it up. Rumors were, like, passed around, like, in the, like, playground, basically. You couldn't just look it up and find out if it was false or not. And actually, people that did have internet, those people just found even more false rumors. They didn't find any confirmation or anything.
Right.
And
Yeah.
even though like people at Nintendo were like, "Nah, this is totally a rumor. That's not true." You didn't believe them because back then, like there were tons of codes and debug modes and all that was really easily accessible if you knew how. Because back then, they just figured nobody would figure it out. And even if one person did figure it out, it was only word of mouth that passed it, so it wasn't that big of a deal. Like there were tons of weird codes. Like I remember Sonic 2, you would go to the sound system, the sound, what's it called, sound test, and listen to 3 specific songs in a row, and then you would go and get 50 coins or rings. And when you got 50 rings, then you would turn into Supersonic, even if you didn't have any of the Chaos Emeralds. And so there were codes like that made you think that these were definitely possible. These rumors had some sort of validity. And also the fact that there was a truck there for absolutely no reason made you think that it was possible. So it was such a huge deal. And the other one that I remember was the Peekaboo one. Did you guys hear about that one?
Yeah,
No.
a little bit.
No, you didn't hear about that one, GameGod?
No, why don't you go ahead and hit my memory up with that?
So back because Japan got everything first. By the time we got Red and Blue, they were getting Gold and Silver. So we knew that there were more Pokemon coming later. And one of the earliest ones that surfaced, I remember Donphan was one, and Meryl was one. And Meryl, kind of from first glance, looks like a blue Pikachu. And the rumor was that he was actually like a different form of Pikachu, how like Vaporeon is a different form of Eevee. And so he was named Peekaboo. And there was the rumor that you could get Peekaboo inside Red and Blue. And I don't remember distinctly what the rumor was, but it had something to do with somebody in the museum giving you a Magikarp, and then you could take that Magikarp, train it to a certain level, and then give it back to him. And then he would say, "Oh, thanks for training my Magikarp. Here's a Peekaboo." And I tried that as well, and it was annoying because you have to train a Magikarp, and Magikarp are like the worst things to train because they have
Yes.
like, what do they have, like Tackle and Splash for like the longest time.
Tackle if you're lucky, I think.
Yeah.
So they're like the hardest Pokemon to train. Did you ever try doing that, AJ?
No, I've never tried it. I feel like I did something similar to that for a different rumor, but I never trained a Magikarp up because I wouldn't do that.
It's too annoying.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting now that it's actually been confirmed that you actually can catch Mew in the original Blue and Silver, or Red and Blue without using a cheat. It's really weird though. It's similar to like the Missing No one actually. From what I remember, again, I haven't looked at it in a couple of years because I think they only discovered it like maybe a handful of years ago.
Yeah, in like 2006. I can explain it really quickly because I've done this every time I restart the game now. I always do this because you can actually get two Mews with like really not any effort at all. And what you're basically doing is you have to go to the Cerulean City, that's Misty's Gym's domain. You go there and you go up to the very top, and there's like tons of trainers and patch of grass. You get an Abra, then you have to fight this specific trainer, and you get an Abra, then you have to trigger another trainer up in that area, but you have to like teleport away from that trainer. And what that'll do, that'll load some sort of data, or it'll get the game ready to load Mew's data from the next Pokemon the game sees. So then you go over to a youngster with a level 17 Slowpoke, which shares the same dex number or something like that, the Mew or something in the code. And so you kill the Slowpoke, then you go back to Cerulean, you just go up again, and then you can fight Mew. And there's a second way you can do it within the Cerulean gym with one of the swimmers also can get you a Mew.
I thought the way they did it is you ended up doing most of that, but then you flew to Lavender Town and then immediately went left, and the first Pokemon you find should be Mew.
That's another trigger spot, but one of the trigger spots can also be the bridge. I forget what they call the bridge, but that bridge going up the above Cerulean Town, whatever. That also is a trigger spot. There's like 20 trigger spots or something.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. I love how people are like finding out all these like glitches and tricks and stuff, all like years and years after the game's been dead.
Yeah, totally.
I kind of got a question for you guys. Like the old Pokemon games are really like obviously just classic and have a lot of cultural relevance. But since the remakes, do you guys ever find it like a little difficult to play the older ones when like after the remakes came out?
Personally, I didn't play the remakes. I mean, I wasn't ready to drop like $40 or $50 on a game that just looked better than a game I already had. So I didn't get it. I wanted to get like Leaf Green, like everybody else did, but like I said, I didn't have the money for it, so I didn't play the remakes. But I know what you mean, because the first Pokemon game, like the Pokemon sprites are so ugly. Like it's hard to look at.
The running.
Oh, and yeah, you can't run either.
Yeah,
right?
I hate walking everywhere, and like not having a quick select. Like, can you have a quick select button in the original Red and Blue?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you have one. It's a single slot. They were single slots forever, but yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the old days.
Which was just used for Bicycle for everybody.
Yeah, and like all the items are in one big list. It's like so many. That's why I can't I honestly don't really care to play the originals these days. Like back in those days, like I can totally understand how they were awesome. Like with the luxury of like Red and Blue having remakes and Heart Gold and Soul Silver, freaking love them. Like I can't really play the originals anymore.
I can definitely go back and play them. I think the last time I played it was maybe around, I don't know, 2005 or 2006 or something, and I still liked it then. I mean, yeah, it's got its issues, but it's classic. It's got those terrible Pokemon calls and those ugly sprites, and it's got all those cool glitches and stuff. So
yeah.
And next time that I play, I definitely want to try to get those Mews.
Yeah, it's really fun to do that.
One thing
the way in, before we move on, the way to like the conversation, I actually feel the complete opposite. The playing like the remakes again. I didn't get through my Soul Silver game. I don't know. It felt like the difficulty was really off balanced or something in Soul Silver. I'm not sure what about it, or maybe I was just good at the Elite Four or something, and then whenever the Kanto, I just didn't have powerful Pokemon. I basically need to level up my Pokemon 20 levels in that each, so I'm not really playing that. But anyways, to get back to the old games, I find those more replayable for like all the wrong reasons, like the mods and like the glitches and stuff like that. That I wouldn't replay them if they didn't have those, but since they do, I can really find those replayable, and I just have tons of fun doing glitches and things like that.
Yeah, I totally get that.
one thing I remember doing that was a lot of fun was because I had um, two brothers and they both had Pokemon. Oh, actually, one thing I should mention, which was hilarious, was whenever I found out about the missing no code to get all the rare candies, I didn't tell my older brother, but he knew that I knew how to do it, and he was like freaking out. He ended up like eventually crying over it because he wanted to know so bad, and he was like, "We're brothers. You're supposed to tell me stuff like this." And he like told my mom, and then I had to tell him, and yeah, that was hilarious. Uh, but one thing that I used to do with my little brother was every now and then we'd say, "You want to start Pokemon again?" So we would just start a file, and we would say, "Okay, we're gonna go to combined like level 50 or something," and we would try to split up which Pokemon we would get so we wouldn't have the same ones. For example, I would get like Butterfree and he would get like Beedrill, and then I would get like Jigglypuff and he would get like Clefairy. So we would make sure that we had kind of, I guess, the opposite spectrums, kind of, but they were, the different pairings, I guess.
Yeah, like good
Yeah.
opposing teams.
Yeah, and then we would get to like, okay, so now we all have all our Pokemon at level 10 or all our Pokemon at level 15, and then we would battle, and then we do it again at like level 30 or something. So that was a lot of fun. I really liked doing that.
Hmm.
So I guess we could I guess we could go on to silver then, silver and gold. And if you wanted to maybe start us off there, AJ, on what I guess leading up to silver and gold, or your
Yeah,
first experience with
yeah.
it.
So, Silver and Gold, that was actually, I never owned a Game Boy back in like the red and blue days. I didn't get my Game Boy until my November of 2000, my birthday. And that day I got Silver. My sister got Gold. And what really sucks about the situation and why I kind of handed off Red to some random person is I didn't get my own copy of Red until Christmas. So, like, throughout the entirety of everything. I just didn't view Red as nearly, I didn't think that was a good game back then compared to like Silver because it was in, like monochrome and it didn't look good and Silver was a lot more advanced, etc. So I basically played Silver for like 2 years straight though. A lot of fun.
Silver for me was probably my most anticipated game ever. I remember being camping with my friend, and he had Nintendo Power, and we were like in the tent reading about the upcoming Pokemon, and it's gonna have 100 new Pokemon, and it's gonna be you're gonna have daytime and nighttime with a real internal clock, which back then was like mind blowing. That it was going to change, keep track of what time it was, and then at night you could catch certain Pokemon that you couldn't during the day, and on Thursday certain things would happen, on Sunday certain things would happen. So that
Oh yeah.
was, I mean, they could have just released a new Pokemon game with 100 new Pokemon, or even 50 new Pokemon, and people would have ate that up. But they really went, I think, the extra mile, and they did so many amazing things, like adding the 100 new Pokemon, then adding the time, and then they also added things like breeding and tons of different moves. And it, for me, I was so anticipating this. And I remember this was the first game I ever pre-ordered. I think it was at a Kmart or something, because if you pre-ordered it, you got a CD of this. This really says how old it was. Just a CD-ROM that had screenshots of of the game, and that's pretty much it. But it was like the coolest thing ever. I was like, wow, look at me, I'm getting an exclusive look at the new Pokemon. Because there wasn't anything about it online. Basically, it was Nintendo Power and that CD. So I actually lost it, but I ended up buying it on eBay like a couple years ago for like $1 or something. And it's like, I treasure that CD. Because it brings back so many memories. I think it might have had like half of one song and like a couple screenshots and then like a little bit of information. That's all it had. But it was like
the song.
Pardon?
Yeah, the song.
It was a preview, man.
But like still just like cut it off right at the half.
I don't remember, but back then it was the coolest thing ever. And another amazing thing that Silver did, Gold and Silver did, and spoiler alert for those that haven't played it, is I remember in Nintendo Power they said at the end of the game you're going to have a surprise. And I was thinking, okay, well maybe the first game had Mewtwo whenever you were near the end of the game, or maybe it was like a new like a safari zone or something. I thought it was just a little treat, whatever. But then you get to the end of the game and they're like, surprise, mofo! There's another whole game in this game. Remember that last game you played? It's also in this game. And that was like mind blowing because you thought, okay, I've beaten this game, I'm pretty much done. And they say, well, guess what? Pretty much the whole first Pokemon game is also in this game. So have fun running through that again. And that was probably like the biggest surprise ever because I didn't know anything about it. That's like, playing through, I don't know, Majora's Mask and then getting to the end and they're like, guess what? Ocarina of Time is also in this game. So it was just such an amazing thing back in the day, and I love it. And that was probably like one of my biggest game surprises. And just that entire game is so crazy solid. And one thing I did want to mention, because it is related to the beginning, was Pokemon Silver and Gold were actually the first ROM I also played. I remember my friend had it like on a floppy disk, again showing how old it is, of the Japanese version, like probably a couple months before it came out. So we didn't know that they were... We didn't know what any of the Pokemon were called or what the moves were or anything, but we still like huddled around like this old computer with like this floppy disk in there and played that game. Like, I don't know how far we got, but it was still amazing to see like the starters and see what the first couple towns looked like. And so it was a lot
like
of
the whole game, right?
Yeah, it was the whole game on a floppy.
And in Japanese.
And in Japanese. So it was like probably my most anticipated game ever. It was the first game I pre-ordered. It was the first ROM I ever played. And it probably had the biggest game surprise ever for me. So it's no surprise that this Pokemon Silver is probably one of my favorite games ever. So I know I ranted for a little bit, but your turn, GameGod.
Man, that's a hard. So my Gold and Silver memories. Played it. Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, but like seriously though, I played Gold and Silver before the remakes, but only lightly. It was only after I like really got into Pokemon with the remakes that I went back and I wanted to play Gold and Silver because, like you said, the end of where you can go back and play through the whole Kanto thing. I love the idea of like even today if they just like mixed every single region into one game. It's a pipe dream, but if they did that, that'd be awesome. Totally. But just to like go back and do like both parts in one game, that really appealed to me. And this is before Hard Gold and Soul Silver came out, so I really wanted to go play them, and I did. And yeah, it was like really fun. Like nothing experiences like you guys had, but I mean, yeah, I liked it. But I mean, Hard Gold and Soul Silver, like as far as remakes go, like my favorite Pokemon games in the entire series.
Soul Silver is actually really good. I was really happy they did that. I guess I should have first given an overview of Pokemon games for me. So I played Blue, then Silver, and then I played a ROM of whatever was next. What was it, like Ruby? Ruby and Sapphire?
Yeah, Ruby Sapphire.
So
yeah, Ruby.
I played a ROM of one of those, and I wasn't feeling it. I was like, well, this is kind of okay. I didn't really like the Pokemon, and that's whenever they added, every Pokemon had their own stupid little stat, like, oh, by the way, if you tackle a Pikachu, you're paralyzed. Surprise! And I was like, I am not learning the special abilities of like 300 Pokemon. Like, screw this. I'm not playing this garbage. So I never played those, and then I heard Soul Silver was coming, and I was like, well, I guess I'm playing Pokemon again. Because, like I said, it was like one of my favorite games ever, so I had to get that one. And I found Soul Silver was actually really good. Except for the fact that the things they added, like they added some things from the newer games, like they added like I don't know, mixing berries and stuff and putting stickers on your Pokeballs or something. I don't know. They didn't really explain any of it that well. They just kind of like shoehorned it in, where like one person was like, "By the way, you can mix berries." And that was it. So I never.
Yeah, it wasn't a really big part of the game.
I never used any of those things, and I don't know. I thought they could have either explained them better or not add them in at all, because I was interested in them, but I don't know.
Well, actually, the stickers on the Pokeball thing, I gotta say, I had a lot of fun with those because, like, Do you know how they work exactly?
No,
or-
because they don't tell you. It's like one girl tells you for like 2
basically-
seconds.
Basically, you can get little stickers to put on your Pokeball, and like when you throw your Pokemon out, like all these little graphics appear depending on what stickers you have placed on it and where you place them. So you could like you can get like letter ones, and you can spell out different things when they pop out, or you can have like fire ones that when you throw out your Pokemon, all these flames will come out. And like it was the stupidest thing to add, but I mean it was just like.
See, that sounds cool. If they would have told me how to do it, maybe I just wasn't paying attention. I don't know.
Yeah, it did take some. I don't remember how well I got it at first, but it did take some fiddling, I'm sure.
Oh, and another amazing thing about Silver and Gold is that you could make your own Pokeballs out of the apricorns or whatever.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
fun.
You can
That was
make
pretty
like
cool.
slow balls, and I think there was even like a love ball and fast ball, dark ball. There was like all these balls that helped you catch certain Pokemon like during certain types of day, and the heavy ball was for Pokemon that weighed a lot. And I don't know, they basically added to every single like facet of that game and made it better. And I was really disappointed with the game that came out after, because I felt like they didn't really add all that much. And I think that the Pokemon series as a whole, like the last time it really like revolutionized anything was Silver and Gold. And since then it's been fairly stagnant, I think.
Yeah.
I mean you still can't even run diagonally. and even like in the newer versions, like, hey, it's 3D, and I'm looking at it, no, that's not 3D. Why are you still a sprite? Like,
Yeah.
they could easily make a game with, I mean, not that I'm a graphics person or anything, but I would at least like them to at least make one game that was actually like a bit more, just a bit
Kinda
more,
like Coliseum.
yeah, just like a bit more modern. And
Yeah.
you don't have to take the whole series that way, but maybe make it as like instead of making it like a 50-hour game, maybe make it like a 15-hour game or something, or a 20-hour game that has just a bit more modern. I mean, we're still using like the weird old calls that, you know, sound like they're going through like a freaking cassette player, like taped to a microwave. Like, it's terrible sounding, and we're still using old sprites, which I think the sprites are fine, but I think they should either be like really well like hand-drawn graphics or be 3D. Like, not using this, it's just so dated in so many ways. And
A little low res.
I understand they spend a lot of time like making the new Pokemon themselves, but it's just, I don't know, like I feel like they're just riding this wave. And honestly, if I was them, I wouldn't change it either, because they can make a lot of money by not annoying the fans, by keeping things relatively the same. But I don't know, and it all feels so broken up too. Like, it feels really like the way everything's laid out is really compartmentalized. Like, I find nothing is, like, you still have to go to, like, even like online battles. I tried doing that a couple times, and it's, you have to go to this one area, and then you have to talk to these people, and then do this, and it's just, I find that it should just be as easy as, okay, turn on your game, alright, I want to do a Wi-Fi battle, and then it throws you in one. It's, I don't know.
Have you played Black 2?
No. I
All
only,
right.
Soul
I'll
Silver was the
explain
last
to
one
you.
I played.
It's basically what you're saying right now. Black 2 just like fixed almost everything and made it. It really is. I'm not sure how Black 1 played out, but I beat Black 2 within like a week and still doing university. Like, I was so dedicated to it, and I'm taking a little break right now. But Black 2, with your Wi-Fi battle qualm at least, all you have to do now to play online is you just go up to, like in the Pokemon centers, Marts are in Pokemon centers now, by the way, which is a brilliant, genius idea. But all you have to do is you go up like you're going to do a link out cable battle in like the older games, but now you can just do random battles with anyone, and you can do like 3-on-3 or 6v6 or double, triple battles, whatever you want, and then you can just find people. And there's also kind of like the Mario Kart ranking system in there, where like you start with 5,000 points and you can go up or down, and it's really easy and a lot of fun.
Yeah, but I hate all the Pokemon now. Like,
Yeah, there's
original 250, like, that's where it's at. And then it just gets stupid.
Okay. Well, basically, Well, now I kind of feel bad because like I made the conscious decision. Okay, Black 2 is coming out. Okay, I'm done. Like Pokemon has gotten a little bit stale for me. I'm gonna take a little break from the series. I'm not quitting, but I'm not gonna get this new game. And now you're kind of making me feel like I'm gonna get it later on when it gets cheap. But I also have something to say about the new Pokemon. I actually like the new Pokemon, and I'm going to. I was going to talk about this later when we talked about our favorites, but I mean, one of the Pokemon in the new generation is an ice cream cone that evolves into a double scoop. So,
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what you guys want.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's also silly. I mean, the first 150 at least. There are a couple silly ones in there, but for the most part, like probably the silliest one is like muck. But then they have like guys that are like made of actual garbage and made of like ice cream cones, and it's I don't know. It's too weird for me. Some of them are cool, but
Yeah.
I find the first 250 are fairly solid.
The only gen I really didn't care for was Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah, I didn't care for those at all. That's probably my least favorite in the series. Just I don't know. I didn't really care.
Like Reggie Gigas, like, oh my god. I could rant on about that for a while, but you were going to say something?
I was just going to say with the whole like I don't like Gen 5 is my least favorite gen argument. I was thinking about that, but then I was like, what if Gen 1 and Gen 5 switched places? Like, you know what I mean? Like if the Gen 1 Pokemon came out last, like I would think so many people would blast them for being basically just animals that are recolored, and that's it. Like there's not really any originality with those either. Like,
yeah, I kind of thought about that too. Like, I really try not to be like biased on my like origins of the series, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I try to look at like generation really like holistically, and
yeah.
Man, look at this guy over here.
I'm basically a philosopher of the Pokemon series, is what I'm saying. I take it very seriously, guys.
And I am super biased. Anything other than 250, they suck. Especially Lucario. Lucario sucks. I hate Lucario. Mostly because of what happened in Smash Brothers, but we won't go into that.
Not today.
Yeah, not today. One thing is there anything else that you guys wanted to say about Silver? I feel like there's got to be more to say. Oh, they also added genders, which is a big deal.
Oh yeah, breeding and stuff, and got really complex.
It did, because I remember spending a lot of time like breeding Pokemon and trying to. Oh, they also added babies. That was another thing, and eggs. So yeah, there was a lot of. They added so many things to Silver and Gold, and I don't know. I feel sad that the series is kind of gone stale. I don't know what it is.
Well, ignoring what you just said there, because Black 2, honestly, you guys both gotta like look into that. It really is probably the best Pokemon game out there. It might have some of the same like things, but it honestly fixes like everything and makes it a ton better. And like objectively, it's probably the best. But anyways, about Silver, what I was gonna say was I was so mad like after Silver and Gold and Crystal had their run. Like the next 2 generations didn't include all the stuff Silver had, like the day and night cycles, the daily events.
What? They didn't have any of that?
Stuff. No,
that's
like
ridiculous.
Ruby or Fire Red and stuff. Like they didn't have all of that stuff, and I'm like, seriously, that was like so cool. So I don't know. That's why Silver, like to me, is like the second best after.
Well, with Fire Red,
Black,
you can kind of understand.
Yeah, because that's a remake.
Yeah.
But
like, Ruby.
Yeah, like Ruby and Sapphire, honestly, like I had fun with them at the time, but replaying them, I like the legendaries, and I like the extra stuff. Like I think Diamond and Pearl really packed it in with the legendaries, had a lot, and freaking Dialga and Palkia had a catch rate of 30. I mean,
I don't know what that means, man.
Basically, it's not too difficult to catch them in a Pokeball.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me put it in perspective. Most legendaries have a catch rate of about 3.
Oh. Okay, that's definitely different. Yeah, I remember the legendary dogs being really hard to catch.
Oh god.
Oh yeah.
Because you see them, and then even if you like randomly run into them, which is the chances are pretty low, then they are in your Pokedex, but then they're only in an area for what, like a couple seconds? And then
Yeah.
they're somewhere else.
I
I never caught all three. Did you guys?
No.
No, but I have a little story. I had Fire Red for a long time, and I put a lot of hours into it, but I could never find. I think mine was Suicune because I got Charmander, and like I never found it. I just could never find it. I was playing it at my school one time. I think I was like in 6th grade, and I was at this after-school kind of program thing with my friend. And there's all these little kids around, and I was just playing Pokemon, and I was looking at this book. It was like a Pokédex book. I got the book at the book fair, and this little kid comes up. He's like, "Oh, you're playing Pokemon?" He's like, "Can I play?" I'm like, yeah, okay. You can do whatever you want. Basically, just I showed him the Master Ball. I'm like, don't use this ball. Just like whatever you do, just don't use this ball. So we went off and played it for a little while. Came back. He's like, look what I found. It was Suicune, and I was like, are you kidding me? Like, are you freaking kidding me? I've been looking for this guy for years, and this little kid just finds him in 5 minutes. I couldn't believe it.
That's really funny. Actually, I caught Suicune like twice. I saw Suicune all the time, but I never saw. I think the only one I ever saw, I think I saw Entei. I never saw the electric guy.
Raikou, yeah.
Yeah, I never saw him. I was gonna say something about the legendaries. What isn't there something? Oh yeah, shinies too. They added shinies in that game too, didn't they?
Ooh.
Yep, I have a story. I have a story about shinies, and it's
before self-destruct. In before self-destruct.
Yes. I was playing it one day, and it was like this was like in the early 2000s too, like soon after. Well, a few months after the game came out, because it was towards the end game. I went to the Dark Cave, and I found a shiny Donphan, and it was red, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like the coolest looking thing ever. It like I've never seen it, and it looks awesome. So, anyways, I was there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna catch this. So I got it down to like red health or whatever. I couldn't do a status effect on it because I was just going to fight the final thing again. I won't spoil that, but I was just gonna do that. So I had like really powerful Pokemon, but somehow I managed not to kill it. So I chucked I think I literally chucked 40 Ultra and Great Balls at it, and it never caught. And like as soon as I realized that I wasn't getting this thing, I just shut off the game. I was so mad. And I actually did a bunch of stuff before that, but I didn't care. It just really made me mad. Probably definitely my biggest rage moment at Silver.
I remember my brother actually caught a shiny, what was it? A shiny either Scizor or Scyther.
Oh, wow.
But other than that, I didn't really know much about the game, so I just assumed that it was like a glitch or something. And I was like, oh, okay, it sparkles. Because there was the shiny Gyarados, like, that everybody could catch. So I thought maybe it was just, like, something to do with that. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
I found a shiny. You know how some parts I don't remember which game it was, but they have like double battles where you have like you have a partner going with you, and like caves. You guys ever?
Yeah, I've done that before. That's in like I know it's in Diamond and Pearl quite a bit.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So we went through those, and I had my partner with me, and one of the Pokemon that appeared in the double battle was a shiny Graveler, and like basically in a double battle you can't catch a Pokemon if there's two until you kill one, because it's like, oh well, you can't aim at this one, which I thought was stupid. Because like I finally got it down. It's like, you can't get this. I was like, are you kidding me? So I killed the other Pokemon, or it fainted, and then so right before I'm about to throw it, the Graveler self-destructs, and like I just sat there for a moment and contemplated life for a few minutes. But yeah, it's finding those shinies is kind of like gives you quite the anxiety attack if you're not really expecting it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I could definitely remember a few Pokemon where I was trying to catch them desperately, and I like literally wasting every single Pokeball. Like, throw the heavy ball, throw the fast ball, throw the love ball, throw the dark ball, throw everything, and not getting it. I can't remember what they were, but I definitely remember having those moments back in the day. And those were intense. Hold down A and B, right? That's how you do it.
Mine was actually tap up and B.
What?
Oh my, yeah, like there's lots of different rumors on that, but my friend basically told me, oh, you have to tap up and B really fast, and the faster you so basically, and I had an SP, a Game Boy Advance SP, which I really don't like the design of because it's too like compact for my hands, but I'd press it so fast and the flap would close on my hand, so I couldn't see. I had to like flip the screen back open, and when I was trying to catch, I think it was Reggie Ice, oh my god, like it was the hardest legendary for me to catch. That and Groudon, I think, for the hardest.
Those were intense, though. I mean, we still remember those moments where the Pokeball's like, doo-doo, 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 it's shaking, and you're like, close!
Dude,
close!
That's the stuff Pokemon's made of.
And then you're like, yes, I caught it! And then half a second later, they break out, and then you,
yes,
definitely had those moments.
Yeah.
Like where that moment where you're sitting there reasoning with the Pokemon, like, okay,
Yeah, I know.
you get in the ball. I swear to God, I will like take you to the spa.
Oh, man, good times. And also, I was listening to the soundtrack of Red and Blue and Gold and Silver, just to kind of jog my memory. And probably the song that hit me the hardest was the Evolution song.
Gotta listen to it every time when Pokemon's evolving. Oh, turn the volume up.
Yeah, that was. I don't know, man. That just strikes an emotion. It just hits me right here, you know.
Dude, it's
Yeah.
just like it's still exciting every time, even though you know exactly when it's gonna happen, exactly what's gonna happen. It's just like, dude, my Pokemon's evolving.
Yeah, that was really cool. Except for whenever you accidentally hit the button to stop it evolving, and then you have to turn your game off.
My friend did that. Like, one was evolving. He's like, dude, press B, press B. I'm like, why? He's like, did you just press B? I press B. I was like, oh, why did I listen to you?
I don't think I ever did that, except for... Actually, I might have done it in Soul Silver, because then I actually knew that there was some moves you could only learn as certain Pokemon. Like, I just assumed when you're a kid, okay, well, Ivysaur can learn everything Bulbasaur can, and Venusaur can learn everything that, you know, all the other ones can, but they can't.
Yeah,
so you have to stall them at certain points. Did you guys ever get Hitmontop?
Never.
Yeah, I think I did. I think I got all three eventually in Silver.
Because everyone who I talked to was saying it was so hard to get Hitmontop, because the only way you could get... what's the baby form? It's...
Tyrogue.
Yeah, Tyrogue to evolve to Hitmontop is if like his attack and defense was like identical when he evolved or something. And me and my other friend, we both did it like first try, like no problem. I don't know what the deal with that is. I guess we just both got really lucky. Is that it?
Never tried. So
I just used like proteins and stuff and just evened them out, and then it wasn't that hard to do. Same with the Espeon and Umbreon. It seems like so many people had troubles with those, but I mean, I had no trouble getting either one a couple times.
Yeah, I got Umbreon, but I know once I accidentally got Espeon, and then I just turned it off, and I just waited like a couple hours. Did you guys ever mess up the time? Because remember they had daylight savings time in that game, and whenever I was first got it, I was like, daylight savings time. I don't know. I just picked one, and then so whenever daylight savings time actually ended, like my game was like an hour or two off, and that was really annoying.
Yeah, I don't remember ever. I never really cared too much about the time. I mean, night was night for me.
Yeah, but then you can catch Hoots at night, and you can't catch Pidgeys or whatever the heck it was.
Got to get them Hoots. So.
Hey, I used one. They were sweet. A psychic bird, man. It can fly and use psychic moves.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Well, my double scoop could totally just. I'm just saying.
Your double scoop.
My double scoop.
Is his name actually Double Scoop?
His name's Vanillux.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I had one of those in my team, but like, I don't know. I just caught it with like a Pokeball, so it wasn't that good. But I agree. It's like a really cool looking Pokemon. I love it.
It's the first thing I did literally once I got that, I think I stopped playing Black and White. I'm at the Elite Four right now or something.
Did you guys ever find that, at least in the first two games, the whole game is not terribly difficult, and then you get to the Elite Four and you're like, well, time to spend like 15 hours grinding.
I basically take an entire portable Pokemon Center with me into the Elite Four. Like a bunch of elixirs and like full restores and revives.
I just always found it so difficult. Like the game was, occasionally you'd run into a gym leader that just happens to beat you because of what type of Pokemon they have or something. But then you get to the Elite Four, I remember in Silver, and even in Soul Silver, you get there, and they're like, well, I know you spent like 40 hours on this game, but not till like hour 60 are you going to actually be able to beat these guys.
Don't you forget it.
I think that was something I mean, if I had to put a downside on the original Pokemon games, I don't know if they're still like this, but was whenever you got to the Elite Four, it was way too big of a jump. I know they're supposed to be powerful, but like 15 hours of training it's too much.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But that might have not helped that I had that Dunsparce.
Well,
Wait,
no,
in the original
I think that actually
games,
was your only hope.
I don't know. I don't remember the original one, but I remember in Silver, you really have to train.
Yeah. Wait, no, in Silver, the Silver Elite Four is really easy. They're only like the most powerful thing is level 50, and by then most of your guys, and you also, I believe, you also can get your legendary bird before you go on. So I always found the gym leaders after the Elite Four to be difficult.
They were so easy. Kanto is a breeze.
Got some controversy up there.
I don't understand. How can your Pokemon be higher levels than mine and still... I don't know. You EV trained them all wrong, man.
No, mine were low. That was the problem. Mine were all like 30 to 42, but since the Elite Four is very easy, I'd breeze through those.
Oh,
then
I
I'd
guess.
the Kanto, and I'd be underleveled and get my face busted.
Oh, okay. So that's why Kanto was a breeze for me, because I suck at the Elite Four.
Okay,
yeah, like you did all your training then, and then it was pretty easy. Yeah.
I guess it all makes sense.
There is one thing that I have yet to do, even in Hard Gold and Soul Silver, and I won't spoil it. But at the very end,
yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
You think? Yeah. I haven't yet to do that yet.
In any game, or just that one?
Just like I've never even got there in the old games, but I'm there in the remake. I just have not. That was kind of when the game kind of lost my hook.
That was an amazing nod. That was fantastic. Especially, okay, we're just gonna talk about it and say spoiler alert, because
spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Okay, so you fight Red.
Ash Ketchum.
And yeah, you fight. Yeah, because that's the thing too. Is Red was, I mean, Ash Ketchum in the show is pretty much red, but isn't necessarily red. And then what they did was they gave Red in the game Ash's Pokemon from the show, which was cool because he had a Pikachu, he had a Charizard. He might have had he have a Snorlax as well?
He had a Snorlax and Espeon. I don't know if he ever had an Espeon.
No, he didn't have an Espeon, but I guess they were trying to balance it out.
Yeah.
But, oh my, man, he was intense. His Pokemon are like 75 or something?
Yeah. Not to, sound like, oh, I'm so great at this game or whatever. But I got Crystal, and my Silver game messed up. I'll explain this for a minute. It's kind of funny. Actually, it's really quite tragic. I used the Game Shark on my Pokemon Silver game.
That's what you get.
Somehow I got question mark balls, and I had 1 billion of these, and I couldn't buy any Pokeballs, and I can't. Anyways, my Pokeballs were screwed up. So I'm for 4 years. Well, for a year, I had to contend with this. Then one day I'm like, oh, I'll use Pokemon Stadium 2 to transfer all the question mark balls out, and so I can have a fresh slate. So I did that, and it worked. And then, while it's in the transfer pack, I pulled it out, and it corrupted my data. And I literally cried for 20 minutes. That is the only time in my life I've ever cried. I was so sad.
I can believe that because I remember I told you this, AJ, that my GameCube memory card got deleted at one point, and I felt like crying. I was like, well, there goes 2 years of my life.
Oh my god, guys, I have a story. So me and my friend lived 8 houses down from me down the street or something like that. This was in 6th grade, and we took Pokemon very seriously. We played it a lot, and I remember we both had Emerald or something, and sometimes things happen. Games get corrupted.
Man, Emerald in 6th grade? I feel so old. Old.
Yeah. Okay, but things happen, okay? Games get corrupted. The important thing is to not panic. So, what my friend did when his got corrupted, he's like, dude, We got an emergency situation here. He gave me a call before school. We actually had to stop at the park. He traded all his Pokemon over to my file. Like, dude, we got to get these Pokemon over here. It's gonna be okay. Like, because he traded all his good Pokemon over to me, so we could restart his game with a fresh file that wasn't corrupted. And we like saved them all, which means I had to go out and catch like a bunch of Pidgeys and stuff to trade with.
Yeah, I remember doing that, catching Pidgeys and stuff to trade. Oh, you just reminded me of the one like glitch that I know of in Soul Silver or in Gold and Silver was cloning Pokemon.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah. Like I've never done it, but I've heard about it.
It's where you can. I can't remember exactly how you do it. It's something to do with. You transfer Pokemon from like your party to your box, and then as it's saying like saving, please don't turn off your game. As soon as it gets to I think one of the specific letters, and you turn off your game and turn it back on. And like maybe 95% of the chance you will have a Pokemon in your party and in your box. It'll be the same one, so you could clone your Pokemon. But sometimes they would delete, and you would have no Pokemon. So, like your file wouldn't be corrupted, but they're just like you just have that Pokemon you tried to trade just wouldn't exist anymore. So I remember doing that to get like 3 or 4 Mews, and I think I only lost a couple, but that was neat about that too. So I think it's time to move on to the cards.
Ooh. Oh yeah.
Were you guys into the cards?
Oh yeah. Yes, definitely, totally.
Yes.
I have the complete base set. I believe I'm not really sure. I'm trying to think of how the cards were divvied up, but I think I had the base set and I had most of, if not all, Fossil and Jungle. Then once Gym Leader came out and stuff, I still got packs, but I didn't want to like complete it or whatever. And like Team Rocket, I kind of dropped off.
So what you're saying is you were the cool kid.
Yeah, I guess I don't know.
I don't know. There was a couple kids at our school that had like the all 150 Pokemon in the cards, and they were like, they weren't like the cool kids, but people knew who they were. They're like, those are the guys.
Lucas of Pokemon.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, because I remember. I think the one card I never saw as a kid was I never saw Venusaur.
Really?
Venusaur was.
Yeah, I think it's 2.
I think I have that card.
No, look at these guys. I got 6 Venusaurs up in here. Yeah.
I got every Venusaur ever made.
But my early Pokemon card memories are. I mean, I have a video on it, so you could just watch that. But if you don't feel like it, basically, I remember I got to it late. I mean, I got to everything late. I was always late to the party, so I ended up going to the game store or the card store and buying I think 5 cards, like just individually. I didn't even buy a pack. I was just like, oh, I like Squirtle. I'll buy a Squirtle. So I bought like a Squirtle, a Jigglypuff, like a Charmander, and a Caterpie, and then something else. I don't know. And some kid like laughed at me as I was leaving because, oh, you only have those cards? And she went and bought like 6 packs. Screw her. But anyways. And then I remember the first day I like went out to the playground. I had my 5 cards in my hand, and I was all nervous and I don't know what I'm doing. I just wanted cards because other people have cards. And one of my best friends was like, I really, really, really want a Jigglypuff. I don't know why he wanted one because it's one of the most common cards. But he offered to trade me his Pidgeot, which is a rare card. And because it was the first time anybody ever offered a trade, I was too nervous and I said no. And regretted that moment ever since.
And your life went downhill from there.
Well, actually, in probably like the mid-2000s, I went on eBay and I was like, I wonder how much these cards are worth. And most of the cards, even like the super rare ones that I always wanted, like I always wanted that Pidgeot and I always wanted a Snorlax, they were like 25 cents. So I ended up buying, I think, like $5 worth of like super rare cards I always wanted as a kid. So I ended up getting my own Pidgeot.
Yeah, I did that back in the day. Actually, I cheated a bit, not too much. That's how I ended up getting Charizard, because I probably threw around $200 worth of monies at Pokemon card packs and never got a Charizard. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy one. But about the trading on the playground thing, like before Silver or Gold came out, it was really cool. There's this girl that I never like talked to in class or anything, but she was on the playground one day with her Pokemon cards out. So I'm like, hey, I'll go over there and chatted up about Pokemon, whatever. And she gave me like a Chikorita card, and I'm like, wow, that's really awesome because I never had any Gen 2 cards yet. And I think it might have been Japanese, but that was really cool.
Isn't it weird? There were definitely, I think there were kids at every school that had Japanese cards.
Yeah.
I have a little separate book from Japanese cards.
But kids don't import stuff, man. Like, how did they get those?
Hookups, man. It's Pokemon's all about the hookups.
I know, but I remember
markets around here. That's how people got them.
I remember some kid had like a Japanese, I think a Dark Charmeleon or something, and it like looks super awesome. It's like looks so evil and it's like slashing and there's fire everywhere. And I was like, man, is that what all the Japanese cards look like? Definitely want to get those instead.
Yeah, I think I've seen the one you're talking about.
But they were
I remember that one.
Like the playground was just like dominated with Pokemon cards.
Totally.
The thing with Pokemon, which I think is amazing and why it's so relatable to so many people, is that Pokemon, whenever it came out, I mean, you guys are, I think, I've got a couple of years on you guys, but probably I remember Pokemon appealing to pretty much like all of elementary school, like kindergarten to like grade 8. Pretty much everybody was into Pokemon at once. And I can't think of another moment where something struck that many people and had that huge of a demographic. Like maybe like Tamagotchi was pretty big, Pogs were kind of big, but still everybody liked it. Everybody liked it for a different reason. Like, let's see, like the kids liked it because they liked the show, right? And so like kindergarten kids, they liked the show. They couldn't really play the game yet. And then as you got older, people got into the cards because the cards were cool. I liked the cards personally because I liked like all the cool art. There's a lot of really interesting art on them. And then like the older kids were into like really hardcore into the game. They were like probably doing like EV training and stuff back then, and really training their Pokemon and fighting each other and stuff. So there was like this like 10-year like demographic, if not bigger, because I mean I don't remember that much from back then, that loved this entire series. And so whenever you went out to the playground, there were kindergartners like trying to trade with like grade 8s and stuff, and it was crazy. I remember kids going around and being like, look, I have Eradicate, and one of his attacks is question mark, so it could be anything, and I have a Weezing, check me out. And people, I remember there being like such a big deal, and people, almost nobody ever fought. Everyone just went around showing off their cards.
Yeah, totally.
And the
I
people,
think I've battled a couple times in my life, but barely.
Yeah, and the people that did battle, I mean, they didn't know how to play. Most people didn't. But I remember these two people battling, and one of them, it was like a Gyarados versus something else, and whoever won got to keep the other person's card, and then it always ended the same way, with the kid screaming and saying the other one was cheating or something, and then just running away, taking their card with them, because they didn't want to lose their Gyarados.
Do you guys know about the TCG, Pokemon TCG Online game they're working on right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
You tried out the beta?
I signed up for the beta like really shortly after it came out. And I actually really liked it. I really like that game. It's really well set up.
Polish on it.
But then they changed it, and they said like you have to download like a program to make it work, like a small file to play it. Even online, even though it's a browser game, you have to download a small file, and that file won't work on any of my computers.
Mine is a client, I think. So, like mine's I had to download like a client and play. Like mine wasn't in browser.
Oh, okay.
Well, I heard they developed it, and like they had this thing where they had to change everything around, so they just completely rebuilt it from the ground up. I don't know how long ago you signed up. Mine, I just recently, like a few months ago, just did.
I signed up, I think last summer, or not the summer we just had, the summer before, so like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And I really liked it, and it was like at the beginning it was so intense because I would lose like 90% of the battles.
Yeah.
But whenever I started playing, they didn't even have player on player yet. They added that like pretty later on, and then I didn't play player on player because people who actually bought real life cards would just crush you because they would have all the rares and all the ones that were cheap, and so I just played with the computer, which I thought it was still a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it's like the Game Boy game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which haven't played that much, but I really am trying to get my hands on it because that's fun.
I really like the Game Boy game. That was a
Yeah,
game
me too.
that was a game I played on the ROM back in the day. Definitely, I played the heck out of that. And it's a pretty decent game. It takes what, like, I don't know about you, AJ, but it took me about maybe 15 hours to beat it.
I did not pick that up until like 2007, so I never beat it, but I had a lot of fun. I fought like the same guys like a billion times to get a bunch of cards. Basically, I collected cards in that game. I didn't really care about battling.
What is wrong with you people?
Do you all know when they dropped the band hammer in schools on the cards?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Was that like a countrywide, or do you know the scale that was on?
Never at my school, so I mean it's not countrywide.
Well, up in Canada they did in a lot of places. It was individual, like school per school.
Yeah.
But our school definitely, because I can't remember. I remember it being a stupid story about some kid getting stabbed.
Yeah, I heard it too.
Like how did it go? Like some kid got his Charizard card stolen, so his older brother went to go confront the other guy, and then somebody stabbed somebody. So apparently Pokemon cards are evil, and we still traded and stuff, but like it had to be really like,
underground.
Yeah, like you open up your jacket and you're like, man, got that
a
Pidgey.
trench coat, bring it to school.
Got me a Pidgeot in here.
You want some Pokemon cards?
Yeah, I remember whenever they did that for sure. But the cards were, I mean, I wanted to play, but nobody had like enough cards to play. Because to play, like I didn't even have energy cards, because energy cards aren't cool, so
oh my god,
you just get rid of them.
Was it just me that had like a truckload of grass energies? Like
I had
more than
grass
any
and
other
water.
thing.
I had grass and water a bunch, probably about equal, but I remember I think it was psychic that I was in an insanely low supply of for some reason, but yeah, I had a lot of grass and water.
I did play a couple times, because my one friend who was really into it like made decks. So he had, I think, 3 or 4 decks. He had like a fire electric deck, and he had I don't know what the psychic water deck or something. So I played with him like a couple times with that, and that was actually a lot of fun. Like I really, really like at least the original game, and I mean I'm still like hoping that one day I'll just find somebody who just has like a box of old cards and will just give them to me, because or like I'll find them like at a garage sale or something, because I don't want them to like sell, because the original ones aren't really worth all that much. I don't think any of them are worth anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't sell mine.
Yeah.
But I have I still have all my original cards, but I don't have enough to make a deck. Like if I had, for example, if I had a Charizard, if I had 2, I would trade one for something else, because I wanted other cards. If I had energy, I would just trade like 10 energy for like one other Pokemon, because I already had one of that energy. So I don't have I couldn't make a deck. I just took the ones that I thought would have cool art or cool descriptions or something, because I would read those descriptions all the time. Every now and then I would just open up my binder and like read all the, turns out that this Pokemon, I don't know, can do this, and this Pokemon weighs this much, and this one has really cool like claymation art, so that's why I liked them. But I did like playing, but I didn't have enough cards to do that.
Well, making decks is pretty fun.
Yeah. Were you one of the kids? This is what I did with my binders. Like, I would probably every month just reorganize all the cards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just to do it. Like, just take them all out. Well, time to reorganize these. I do
wouldn't
them different ways, like by type and by evolution.
Type, name, evolution. Yeah, that was crazy.
I wouldn't do that, but my thing would be perfectly organized, and then I would get like 2 more cards, and I'd be like, well, I have to take them all out and like reorganize them to fit this one Dawn fan in there.
Yeah, that's what I had to do all the time.
Yeah, and I love doing that. Like, I still love those cards.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about it, but I don't know. Like, I can remember, like, even, like, whenever I got some of them, like, I still remember, like, buying that Jigglypuff, and I still remember, I tried to cheat a kid out of a Mankey. Or out of a Primeape. I was like, oh, can I have that Primeape? I'll give you like this. What was it? I tried to give him a not Pinsir, Paris. I tried to give him a Paris, and I was like, look, Paris can like make people go to sleep. So clearly he's better than that Primeape. Like Primeape's lame. And then he's like, let me go ask my older brother. And I was like, okay, see ya.
Come beat you up.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of that going on of like kids like scamming each other and stuff, and it was all part of the game though. It was like
Name of
the
game,
Pokemon
bro.
card just had like a metagame in real life. That's all it was. With like
Yeah.
trading and showing off and all that kind of stuff. It was, I don't know, it was a blast. I loved the cards so much. And did you guys ever get the promo cards from like the movies and stuff?
Oh yeah.
I traded my Mew card.
No,
wow.
I did too. I did too, but I ended up buying another one online.
I have some of the Pokemon. I never got like myself. I never got the Pokemon the first movie, or like the had a little marking and like I think it was like a goldish type lettering, like it said Pokemon the first movie on some of the cards.
Yeah.
And I ended up like buying this big binder of cards at a garage sale. So I'm living your dream, basically. Is what I'm saying. I for like $3, I bought this big binder, and like I had a few of them in there.
Oh, that's cool.
But
Sorry, keep going.
do you guys have any like giant cards? Like I have a giant Darkrai, and I think I saw your giant Pikachu card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have a giant card, and it's really unique actually. I'll say it right now. I saw Pokemon live when it was out back in like I guess when the cards were semi new. It was basically a Broadway show. We like drove 5 hours to Indiana to watch it. Totally worth it though. It was really cheesy. But anyways, when he went there, you got a free giant card of like Mewtwo. But it wasn't Mewtwo. It was like the stage prop they used for Mewtwo, which was like a giant mechanical robot.
Okay,
And I'm like,
I have to see that.
okay.
I have to see that.
It's
card.
really cool though. I'll have to find it online or something and show you guys. It's
That's
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
Wait, what? What's good?
Go
Did you guys
ahead.
ever have like those little like they're like square holographic cards?
Square?
They're like little tiny, like about the size of a processor. I don't know if okay.
All the
They're like
stickers. The ones
were-
that stickers.
No, they weren't stickers. They were like you know how you
Oh.
have these little pictures, like you turn them different ways and they kind of like move.
Oh, right.
Yes, I've had plenty of those. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, they came in like
uh,
little square packs.
Yeah, I've had tons of those for like the evolutions, and it would have like all 3 evolutions on there.
Yeah.
For, like,
Yeah.
I love those. I played with them more than I'd like to admit.
I know what those are, but I didn't have them. But
My friends had a lot.
But you did mention the stickers, AJ. I remember they had like entire stickers of like a whole card, except it was like the whole thing was hollow. Those are really cool.
Yeah, those are cool.
But I remember going to the movie to get my promo card, getting my promo Mew, and I think they gave you a Mew and then another card, which was like random, so you could get like the only one I remember off the top of my head was a Dragonite, which was the Dragonite from the movie that was like carrying the letter.
Yeah, I got that one.
Has a messenger bag or whatever.
I forget which
awesome.
one I got.
So you guys both went to the movie when it came out?
Yeah,
Yeah, the
it
first
was
2.
on my birthday. The first one was on my birthday, so that was really cool. We had like Pokemon everything, and I don't know. I just got a ton of Pokemon stuff for like 2 years straight. It was flipping awesome.
That movie, I'm going to say it. That's actually a good movie.
Dude, watching Ash and Pikachu in that scene tears my heart
Yeah.
out every time.
I know.
Every time.
Yeah, it's really emotional. Oh my god.
That and I have you guys seen the Japanese cutouts, the parts they cut out?
Yeah,
Um,
like with the girl that in the beginning of the movie, the girl that died or whatever,
Mhm.
and that's who was telling Mewtwo. So, yeah, I know what you mean. I wish they could have kept those intact somehow because that would have enhanced it even more. I think. And,
'Cause-
Also, James had huge boobs.
well, not in the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, I'm just
But for those that don't know, the Pokemon in the first movie is actually really dark. Like once they get on that island, like even like physically, it's dark. There's
Yeah.
like a purple like smear over everything. Everything's like dark purple. But it's really, I don't know, it's really intense because they get to this island and I don't know, Mewtwo is like, he's a really cool villain. And I think that if they would have allowed it, like he would have like legit like just killed Pokemon like right off the bat, just like made their brains like explode. But I don't know what it is, but the movie is just like on a whole other scale. It's like on a whole other level of compared to the show. and even to the other movies that followed. And I think part of it was that it was fairly dark, like dealing with the cloning of the Pokemon and Mewtwo, like
Yeah.
obviously killing a lot of people. Like whenever he blew up the lab, he probably killed a couple dozen scientists there. And he's such a
Well, he's good because
he's a good villain because I don't know.
You can understand why he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah, and usually whenever people try to do that with villains, I find it kind of funny. They do really bad jobs, but I think they did a really good job with Mewtwo, and I'm really sad that they cut out the parts from the Japanese movie, which was even darker because they show Mewtwo being like a kid and growing up and like trying to figure out his identity, and he's like hanging out with other clones, I think, but don't they end up dying? Is other clones?
No, the clones, spoiler, end of the movie, the clones actually all go fly with Mewtwo to live a happy little life with him on some island.
No. I mean, whenever he's a kid. Whenever Mewtwo's a kid.
Oh, the failed clones?
Yeah.
They turned into Ditto. That was the thing I heard recently on Did You Know Gaming. Those were all like Ditto because they share the same properties with, like in the games, Mew and Ditto have the same exact like EV properties and everything, and there's the same color, same shiny color. So I guess that's it. Yeah.
But I remember whenever in the Japanese movie, he's like he's not conscious, I don't think, but he's hanging out with like the other clones in his mind or something. There's like a Squirtle and like a Bulbasaur or something, and then there's that little girl who's dead.
Oh, so it's like a dreaming sequence.
Yeah.
Well, I think he was actually talking to them because he's psychic, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I just didn't understand because, like, you said Mewtwo as a kid, but I'm like, but I thought he was cloned as like.
Yeah, but he was still an infant. They don't show that because originally the whole reason the guy started the cloning was because his daughter died, and he wanted to clone his daughter. So he took like Giovanni's like funding to clone Pokemon because he saw that as a way to perfect cloning, so he could clone his daughter. And he eventually clones. I think he keeps her mind in a jar or something. I don't know. But the daughter's mind and Mewtwo are like psychically linked, and they like talk to each other and hang out. And eventually, she ends up dying, and that's part of why Mewtwo is like so mean. And it was really, yeah, it was. I don't know. It was really cool. I think there's a manga based on it too. And there might even, I know there's a radio series as well, which you can actually look up. It's in Japanese, but it has to do with the quest of finding Mew and beginning the cloning process. And it's in Japanese, but they have the English script, so you can follow along. I don't remember what it's called. I have it saved somewhere.
The Japanese get everything, man.
I know, right?
Especially when it comes to Pokemon. They already got the, I'm sorry to go off track, but they already got the new like Animal Crossing for 3DS. It's, man, so jealous.
I know, me too.
So did you guys how far did you go into the movies before you stopped caring?
I like the Deoxys one.
That one is awesome. The opening scene is so cool.
I love the city, all the blocks and stuff.
The block city.
Yeah, those things are cool.
It's pretty much
I
like
didn't care for the pirate one or the Pokemon Ranger one.
I
like
yeah. I watched. I think whenever I stopped, like I went to go see Pokemon 2000 in theaters.
Yeah, me too.
And
yeah, me too.
Part of the reason for that was because they were showing Pokemon in there. I was like, oh, they're gonna show like 2 or 3 Pokemon that are in the next game in this movie. So I remember going, and then like the very first scene, like there's the remixed intro, the intro song, and then they have like the Dawn fan fighting Pikachu, and I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, seriously.
I was like so hyped for that movie, and I don't actually. Oh, is that the one with the legendary birds?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that movie's okay. The first one's actually like legit a good movie. And
yeah, well, the Japanese one, anyways. I think the American one loses its message kind of without all the content. But yeah, totally.
And adding Britney Spears.
Well, as a kid, I mean, you know.
Yeah, as a kid, it was great, but like nowadays, I think the Japanese one would hold up a lot better.
I like the music in the second one. Oh my god, you guys ever see that music video? For the first movie, it's called like "Don't Say You Love Me" or something like that by this group called M2M. No. Go watch the music video for that and just like check out that dancing. I
remember one thing from the first movie I thought was kind of sad. but also kind of funny was whenever all the clones are fighting the normal Pokemon, and they have like the two Psyducks like basically slapping each other back and forth, and they're like, or the two Pikachus are slapping each other until they get tired and like can't do it anymore, and they're like they're so full of hatred, but they're also so sad that they're doing it. It was it was, I don't know, like sometimes I watch that and I find it funny, and sometimes I watch it and I find it really sad.
Well, you see, like there's the you mentioned two different things. The Psyducks one is kind of played up for laughs. That part's actually supposed to be pretty sad. I mean,
and I always thought it was really silly that they're having the clones fight themselves. Charizard, go fight Charizard. No, get Blastoise to fight Charizard. What are you doing?
I hear people, especially the Nostalgia Critic. I don't know if you ever watch him, but he reviewed.
Yeah,
this.
I saw his I saw that. Review.
I mean, it was funny. I'm not gonna like. I really like the Nostalgia Critic, and I thought that review was great. He basically made the argument that it's like a series based on fighting is trying to get an emotional reaction, saying fighting is wrong. And I mean, fans of Pokemon, I think, can kind of see the difference between like Pokemon battles and this.
Yeah. That's more like street fighting. Like most of them weren't even using attacks. They were just like wrestling and like punching each other in the face.
Yeah, like this is like Pokemon beating the hell out of each other. Like battling's supposed to be like battling with like abilities and all these different moves, and like there's like regulations and rules that apparently in the show.
It was just brawling, is what it was.
Yeah, because like I don't know if you guys ever, some of the episodes hint at this. There's like league official like moves that are like made official by like the Pokemon League or whatever. And there's like certain, so that implies basically there's moves that Pokemon aren't allowed to use that I would consider like probably abuse or something in the show. That's going way too into it, but you know, I mean like, but the anime is like 90% filler, and the only season that I really like is the first one, and that's strictly nostalgia based.
Yep, same exact. I like the Orange. I'd extend that to the Orange Islands, but yeah, I agree.
That too.
Yeah.
I liked. There was some cool stuff in Johto because that's whenever I think Ash got like a Snorlax, and he had some pretty cool fights.
Mm-hmm. I liked the final battle with Gary.
Till he freaking lets it go. Like, what the heck is with Ash? He's like, well, now you're powerful. See you later.
I'll come back for you, Pidgeot. He never does.
Yeah, because he lets go. Okay, he lets Snorlax go. He lets Pidgeot go. He lets Butterfree go. He lets. He almost lets his Bulbasaur go.
Everything except Pikachu. I think would be the easier way to say this.
Yes.
Pretty much. He like Ash. Okay, getting into the show now. Ash he's an idiot. Like, remember whenever he goes, I can't remember what league he's in, but he's like, I'm gonna bring my Krabby. What? That Krabby that's been sitting in the box for like 2 years and you've never used once and doesn't know how to fight and is smaller than any other Krabby anyone has seen? Yeah, I'm gonna use that one. And doesn't he end up winning?
No,
he never wins any of the tournaments, does he?
No, he never does. He gets into like the semifinals once, and that's it.
Yeah, and then friendship comes in the way, and stupid Richie.
Hey, friendship is magic.
Totally.
But no, when's he going to be the master already? I mean, this thing's going on for a while. I think he would be the best by now.
Yeah, he's been 10 for like 15 years. He's so old.
I will say things I like about the anime. One, I liked Battle Frontier because I felt it focused on what Pokemon should focus on in the anime is battle strategies and like trying to focus on winning the battle. But I also like the theme songs. Love listening to the theme songs.
The first two themes are pretty sweet.
Except for Diamond and Pearl. Not Diamond and
Pearl. The Johto theme is pretty sweet. Not gonna lie.
Yes.
The remixed Johto theme sucks, but the remixed original theme that was used in Pokemon 2000 is like. It's like ecstasy for my ears.
Honestly, I love them all. Even the ones I don't like, I love. I don't know if that doesn't make any sense, but I love them all. I love to listen to them all for anything.
The thing, I don't think I liked too much about the show. I mean, I watched it originally because, well, I don't know, because it was Pokemon. You just did it, man. If you didn't watch Pokemon, you weren't cool. I remember my one teacher was like, "Oh, I don't like it because it's getting things to fight," and I was like, you're so old. Get out of here. He was also my teacher that didn't like us writing or like our short stories using like suing people because he thought it was a terrible thing. He's a really weird guy. He ended up getting
I don't know
fired.
about Pokemon. I don't know about Pokemon.
Yeah, what's these Pokemans? There's an accent, man. Pokemon.
I just want to interject for like 5 seconds here. Do you guys have, since Christmas is coming up, do you guys have your Pokemon Christmas Bash CDs ready?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Ready. That VHS with when they all go to that cottage with the random Pokemon. The Pokemon.
I bought that on
Jinx.
DVD last year.
What are you talking about? Like the episode that was taken off the air because of Jinx?
No,
Yeah.
I'm talking about I don't know. Like it's one of those that just
It's a
have
Christmas
Pokemon
special.
in it. Yeah, it's a Christmas special. It's like it might be part of the Pikachu Vacation series, but it's
There
pretty
was
good.
yeah.
You have to watch it.
I bought a DVD like last year at a pawn shop or something. It was like $5, and I was like, I'm totally watching this. It had the three episodes that they weren't even like Christmas. They just had snow in them, which never happens in Pokemon. So one of them I don't remember, but I remember one of them it was like Pikachu's Vacation, where it was just the Pokemon, and you only see like the trainer's like legs come in, and there was a Christmas tree, but I remember those. Yeah, I don't think I
have the
brought
whole
that.
first season on VHS, and I have up to Battle Frontier all downloaded on my computer. I just don't ever watch them though, but I have them all.
Oh wow!
My friend and I tried to watch all the movies in order. We took like our last year in like university. We're gonna watch all the movies. Well, it turns out there's like 12 or something, 12 main ones, not including the TV ones. I think we got to. Oh jeez, I don't know. I think we only got like 8 or so in. We tried like watching like 2 or 3 of them like in one night to try to like get through them all, but it just, man, those movies just get worse and worse. Except for the Deoxys one was cool because at the beginning they have the Deoxys fighting Rayquaza,
Yeah,
and man, do they hate each other so bad.
I
And
liked Pokemon Heroes too.
Yeah, that was the one in Venice, right?
One with Latios and Latios.
Yeah, it took place in like Italy, Venice.
Yeah, like it was really some of the scenes in there were pretty cool, and the
Yeah,
music
it was a beautiful looking movie. I really like the art direction in that one a lot. So
I
yeah,
love when he's
that
like
was,
running down the halls, like trying to find the girl who Latios is playing at, who's shaping as, and he's like running through this like CG type of area. It's so cool.
what was the one that had that had time travel?
Pokemon forever,
forever.
forever.
Okay, that one had a kind of a cool twist.
I like that one.
With one of the characters being one of the other characters. That's all I'm gonna say.
I haven't seen it in years.
Yeah, that one was.
Yeah, I forget what it is. Can we just spoil this? I don't think anyone's gonna
Yeah, spoiler. They go back in time because is it Celebi?
Yeah,
That
it's
one?
Celebi.
So Celebi somehow sends them back in time, and they meet a kid, and the kid turns out to be Professor Oak. Whenever
yeah.
he's a kid, but it's hilarious because you think they go back like 500 years or something because their Pokeballs are like steampunk. They're like
Back and ready.
they're like wind up, and they're like, oh, it's Professor Oak. Okay, so this took place like 40 years ago. Like I thought this was
Professor
like,
Oak's really dang old. Okay,
man, Pokeball technology has really gone it's really ramped up in the past years.
Yeah.
I find it hilarious in the Pokemon world how they have things like teleportation and like putting Pokemon like into small balls, but they some of the stuff they're like so far behind in, it doesn't make any sense to me.
in the first movie, there was a line that made me kind of go what a little bit when they're talking about Vikings and Ash says they mostly live in Minnesota. Is the U.S. canon in Pokemon?
They do a lot of really weird stuff like that, or they mention like even
Yeah.
like I was watching this video where this guy was talking about some of like the really weird descriptions on Pokemon and their Pokemon cards, and
Yeah.
2 of them mention Indian elephants. Like Ghastly can kill like an Indian elephant in like 3 seconds just by like engulfing it or something. So they mention like the real world sometimes. Like I think even Paris, or not Paris, I keep saying Paris. The one after Paris. Parasect. Parasect, apparently, like, they used his mushroom in, like, Chinese medicine or something. And,
Makes
yeah.
it powerful.
I don't think they know, what canon is. Because, like I said, like, Ash has been 10 for, like, 15 years.
I think that's just 4 kids. 4 kids working their magic,
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, but I didn't like too much about the series. I think I only watched like the first 2 seasons or something, and it just got like really silly. Like, come on, Team Rocket! Like, what are you doing? Get out of here!
Like in Advanced, every episode is like a bad pun. Every episode name, it's always like Bag-ons will be Bag-ons. It's like, God, man, I just can't do this anymore.
Did you guys see the episode where Jesse and James let their Pokemon go?
Probably, but I totally forget it.
Yeah, I don't recall.
Okay, that one was actually really sad because this is probably one of like the newer shows, like maybe 1 or 2 seasons back, maybe 3. The seasons have been going; they're like on season like 100 now. So, there's someone who's like dealing in like illegal smuggling of Pokemon or something, and he's going out and capturing Ekans and Coughings because I don't know, he needs poison Pokemon, so he's like catching them like by the dozens and just shoving them inside cages, which apparently is bad. Putting them in small balls is okay, but shoving them all in a cage is bad news. So, and he had a Tyranitar, and so Jesse and James were like, "Oh, we have to stop this because Arbok and Weezing are really sad about it because they're like bros, right?" Got to take care of so. Jesse and James go and fight the Tyranitar themselves without Pokemon, and Arbok and Weezing like take the other Pokemon, all the Ekans and the Coughings, and like go into the woods, and like they never see each other again.
Is Tyranitar the big green dark Pokemon?
Yeah, he hyper beams Jesse and James like 6 times.
Man.
But it was really sad because they had like a big moment where they're like, "Oh, I know we hated you guys because you guys are terrible, but we love you, and because it's been like 100 seasons that we're together." And then they go off, and it sounds really stupid as I'm saying.
So like, and they're gone for the rest of the series, right?
Yeah, they're gone. That's
man. That is kind of, even for Pokemon, that's taking a big one.
I thought it was pretty sad. Because they had like a moment. They didn't just like run away, or like Ash is like, "I'll see you next year," and then he never does. Like they were like, "This is it. We're not seeing you guys again."
Honestly, like the show just takes like, it's always the same thing. It's always like some kind of, it's like every once in a while you get a gym battle, right? And it's always like some kind of wacky situation, like, "Oh, my Hoppips are flying away," and then it's like, "Oh, well, Team Rocket shows up. Oh, and there's this girl that Brock just happens to have a crush on, but his Pokemon keep like cock blocking him," and like that's like every episode. That's literally every episode. And it just gets stale after a while.
Am I the only one that thinks Brock is like the worst Pokemon breeder ever? Every episode, I'm Brock. I'm going to be a Pokemon breeder. Well, it's been 15 years, and all I've done is walk around and make rice balls. Like, come on. Get to it.
You mean donuts.
Yeah, sorry. Brock's special donuts.
Yeah, they are the donuts, dude.
I don't know why they do that. They have like compilations on YouTube of like stuff they've like filtered out, and they're like, no, this isn't a rice ball. It's a pizza. And then they CGI in some pizza or something. And
my favorite
we can handle it, man.
There's an episode, I think it's the one where Mankey or Primeape takes Ash's hat, and it's like one of the really early episodes. It might even be the first one where they show the rice balls, and they really hammered in. Brock's like, "Hey Ash, why don't you come get a donut? Nothing's better than a jelly-filled donut. I just love donuts." It's like donuts. These aren't rice balls at all.
Yeah, I remember that.
Was it Pokemon 2, or it might have been another anime where they were drinking sake? Oh, that might have been Yu-Gi-Oh or something. Or they were having people drinking sake, and they changed it to hot sauce. So they were drinking hot sauce, which apparently explained like why their faces were red and why they were wasted.
Hardcore. I get wasted on hot sauce every night.
Who doesn't?
It might have been something like Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know. I probably ran across it when looking up all the silly things they changed in Pokemon.
Yeah.
Or like how they took out that episode with the giant the giant Tentacruel. Because it's in the opening scenes of like whenever they play the theme song. At one part during like an awesome part of the song, they show a Tentacruel like smashing buildings, and they never show that episode. They didn't show it here.
I think they actually did show that. No, I think that was the episode where basically what happens is there's like this lady who wants to turn like this there's like this tentacle area, and then she wants to like build a resort over it or something like that. And like so Team Rocket works for her, and they dump all this chemical stuff to kill all the tentacle and then catch them, but they end up just making them grow like really big, and then like that's the tentacruel in there. I think that's that episode.
Maybe they showed it once or twice, but I think they stopped showing it.
Oh, well, I have it on tape, so I don't know if they still show it. Like,
yeah, maybe. I don't know. I remember reading that they didn't show it here, and they didn't show the seizure one, and they didn't show the Jinx ones.
Porygon one, dude. That episode psychedelic, bruh.
The Jinx stuff is so stupid because
I know
they're like, oh no, they're making fun of blackface. But okay, first off, have you ever seen somebody who's doing like a blackface? It looks nothing like Jinx at all. And I've actually read that it's kind of based on like this fad that was in Pokemon or in Japan for a while, where people
Gongoro.
Yeah, where they'd like, what was it? They would like tan really heavily and like wear like certain types of makeup or something. Yeah. I heard it was based on that. But...
No, but it's actually based. I'm sub to a guy. His name's Matthew Patrick. He runs a show called Game Theory, and what it's actually based on is some Japanese lore, and I'm going to get this completely wrong. So I'll just try to say that there's some lady that dresses up like, I mean, she looks kind of like Jinx, like as much as a lady that's based on a Pokemon can look. But basically she dances on like a mountain and lures men and kills them or something like that. But it's based on like a Japanese folktale type thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, it's just stupid. I really hate when games like they bend like that. Like they've even gone so far as whenever they released Pokemon Snap on the Virtual Channel or the Virtual Channel on the
Virtual Console.
On the Virtual Console, they went in and changed Jinx's face to purple. Like they went in. That's like one of the few things. Like they never alter anything in those games really. Whenever they release in the eShop, but they went in and specifically altered Jinx's face to be.
Well, they added in the picture.
Yeah, which is really cool
in that game. So maybe they did that as like compensation for changing the original title, or vice versa. They were doing that, and they're like, "Hey, let's just change Jinx." I don't know.
Yeah, I really hate that. It's people these days like they scream like racism or like they're offended by everything, and it's just like all the stuff they took out of Ocarina of Time. I don't think anybody was even offended. Nintendo just assumed that maybe other people might be offended, and then took it out.
Which really brings us to Resident Evil.
Pardon?
Was that in the game? Like, I've heard both sides. Like, was that chanting ever in any version of the game? Yeah,
it's actually I have my fiance's cartridge, even though it's gray, still has, because what they did is they had a first batch. So the gold cartridges were the original game. So in there they had Ganon with red blood. They had the mirror shield was different. They had it with like a moon that could possibly be construed as like a symbol of some like Middle Eastern culture, and then they had the chanting in the fire temple.
Oh, okay, so it isn't. Okay.
And then there's a small handful of gray cartridges that also have that, but there's no way to tell the difference until you start the game, and then all the cartridges after that, all that stuff's changed.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's even that stuff is kind of somewhat understood. At least there's some logic behind it, but like, oh man, these kids cannot handle rice balls. Like,
yeah,
get that pizza and donuts in there. It's just ridiculous.
It can't be cultural for America and Canada.
But I mean, back in the day, I remember some kids like learning how to read Japanese just to play like the Japanese Pokemon cards. Like it was intense. People were so into it. Try to get anybody to learn Japanese for any other reason, and they'll slap you in the face. Like, Japanese is ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
But some kids were learning how to like read Japanese just to play these cards. It was crazy. Do you guys remember you guys remember the Mew card, right? The ancient Mew card?
Yeah. When you got with the movie.
Yeah, do you remember figuring out like what the stats were?
I never did it. I never actually knew about that until I saw your video.
Yeah, because I remember specifically doing this, where you went to the website, and they're like, "This is how you figure it out," and they gave you like basically a mathematical formula. They're like, take like this Pokemon's attack, multiply it by like this Pokemon's defense, and subtract like this Pokemon's like number or something. And the only the only one I remember in there was Hitmonchan was one of the Pokemon, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that was really cool, and it turns out that Mew's like really bad card. It has like 30 health, and its attack is really bad, and it's
Oh, it's old. It's old.
oh, yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
ancient.
old.
It's ancient before all that inflation, right?
Yeah. Like, I mean,
Because I remember the first series, the strongest Pokemon had 120 health, I think,
Yeah, Charizard.
and they're up to what? They're up to what now? Like 160 or something?
200, I know Whale Lord EX was. That's
What?
the biggest I've seen.
That is crazy.
Yep.
Did you guys ever read the manga?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
I read the kids' books. Some
Next
of them.
question.
I want to mention a little bit about the manga. I read the first one, and it's actually not too bad. The one thing I do like about it, though, is it's a bit more intense. Like, they have... Who is it? Some Pokemon. It's like a Scyther or something, or maybe even a Charmeleon or something. Whenever they're fighting Pokemon, like one of them is fighting an Arbok, they slice it in half. Like there's Pokemon actually die in the manga,
Wow.
which is kind of cool. And they even have one part where like a Ghastly like takes over Gary and makes him like evil or something. And I don't know. It's worth. I think it's worth looking into if you're a really big fan of Pokemon. I only read the first one, and I might. I don't know. I might look into the other ones if they have them like at a library or something. Because manga is really expensive.
Dude, I guarantee those are all online in PDF form. You probably just need to type in the manga.pdf and they'll pop up with millions.
That's illegal.
Yeah, man, that's illegal. But
That's illegal.
speaking of illegal, though,
Yes.
Pokemon Trading Card Game 2. So you've played that, right, AJ?
Yeah, I'm the one that found it for you. And so I just saw it, so I applied the patch and everything. And man, is that a good game. I love it. Such a good game.
I have my opinions on it, but I really don't like playing ROMs, especially on the computer. So I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it right. So I have an R4, guys. Okay, I use it for legit reasons, and one of the reasons is I downloaded the ROM, which I think is okay because it's a Japanese game. They never translated it. There's no way I can play it.
Yeah, right. That's what I figured.
So I downloaded the ROM, and then I downloaded a fan patch, and then patched it so that's in English, and then I put it on a Game Boy emulator and put that into my R4 so I could play it on my DS.
Yeah.
So I thought that the game was okay. The beginning of the game is the same as the first game.
Yeah, the
Except
exact same.
at the beginning,
the
they were
structure is similar too, I think.
pretty much everything is the same, except I find that the first game was more just about getting a little bit stronger, a little bit stronger, a little bit stronger, and then winning. Whereas the second game is more like, hey, guess what? When you're fighting this guy, you can't use water energy. Hey, when you're fighting the next guy, you can only use water energy. So like after every single battle, you're restructuring your deck, and I found that really tiring. Like, I liked the battles; they were fun. I liked like the new cards, and I liked the challenge. But as soon as you get on like the team, what is it, Greater Rocket or something, Great Rocket Island or something, they pretty much every second battle they make you like redo your deck. And I spent like probably half that game just doing decks. And then you fight another guy, and you're like, well, that deck I just made is now useless. Time to...
Oh yeah, that was horrible, and probably the one thing I will say is bad. How you need like 4 Magikarp cards. Okay,
Yeah,
let me just go do that.
let me go freaking find 4 Magikarp cards, and I have to go battle some guy like 7 times to get 7 booster packs and hope that I can get one. And other than that, though, other than that huge frustration, it's a good game, and it's worth checking out, especially because... I don't know about you guys, but whenever I finished the original one, I definitely wanted more.
Yeah, same here. Well, I didn't finish it, but like I wanted something more. I wanted more cards. That's it. I just wanted more cards. Yeah.
You played the first half of the game, you're like, I want more. Just not this
Yes, basically.
Just not this more.
I want a different more.
I gotta go through here. I want to, because I know there's other Pokemon games we haven't talked about, and I want to talk about them. But
Snap.
oh, we did talk about Snap.
Coliseum, Battle Stadium.
We never talked about the console games, really.
I've only played like the first bit of Coliseum, and it didn't really hook me.
The GameCube ones, they suck.
Yeah, neither one of those hooked me.
I was really excited to play those because it was like sweet Pokemon in 3D and like a real world, and they don't even like let you catch your own Pokemon in the second one. You have to like catch evil Pokemon, and
you have to steal them.
Yeah, you have to steal evil Pokemon because stealing from evil is okay.
I torrented all my Pokemon.
It's yeah, I don't know. The GameCube ones, I don't have much to say about them except they suck.
Yeah. Well, no. Oh, do you mean just like the adventure games? Because I like one of the GameCube ones a lot.
Which one?
Gale of Darkness?
Pokemon. No, Pokemon Channel, actually. For like...
Yes,
Pokemon Channel. For like... It's not... Really, it's almost not even a game. Like, you know what I mean? It's not even like a game. But there's something about it.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I did a review of that game.
Oh, really?
It's fun. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we won't say much about it because we talked about that in a previous episode.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention it so we're not like hating. I don't want anyone to think we're hating on that game because it's. Yeah.
I think people will be upset at us for not hating on it. Actually.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I guess.
Yeah. Well.
Ooh, Pokemon Pinball. Did you guys ever play that?
What was
yeah,
that
I'm playing it on my phone right now.
It's Game Boy Color.
Yeah, the Game Boy Color one.
I don't think I ever played that.
That one's actually pretty fun. It's like a pinball game, except obviously everything is Pokemon themed. So like the bumpers are like like Pokemon and stuff like that. But they have this thing where you still have to catch Pokemon. So what you do is you I can't remember exactly how you do it, but you have to trigger certain things and then a Pokemon will appear, and then you have like a certain amount of time to spell catch, I think, and then you catch it. So it's pretty neat, and you can also evolve them and go to different areas and stuff. It's actually really strategic, I think. I mean, I'm not a pinball guy, but it's a pretty strategic game.
I'm not a big fan of pinball.
You might want to check it out. It's pretty cheap.
I'll try it.
And it has a Rumble, and Rumble's cool.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't like about Pokemon Pinball was the ball physics are like really bad, in my opinion. Or, like it doesn't function like a ball at all.
Because it's a Pokeball.
Yeah, I guess.
It's Pokeball physics.
Logic.
It's got those little ridges on it, dude.
Yeah, it throws everything off. So that was one I actually liked that one quite a bit. I'm looking through here. You guys didn't play any of the Ranger ones, did you?
Nah. I played Mystery Dungeon a little bit when it first came out. And I was honestly like, what am I playing? It's the only DS game I've ever had that I've taken back because I just really didn't. I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, I hated Ranger's gameplay. It never caught me, and I didn't like the story, and I wasn't compelled to play it at all.
Does the Wii one have a first player, like a one-player story, or is it just strictly battle?
Battle Revolution, you mean?
Yeah.
It's battle.
Yeah, it's just battle. It's all right. I mean,
that's lame.
It's like Pokemon Stadium, except
without any of the fun.
It's like
without any of the features.
It's basically like taking your team on any of your Game Boy games or like your DS games and just like playing them on the console, which is
lame.
That's basically what it is in a nutshell. It's lame.
Basically, Black 2 completely made it obsolete with the easy function to just go upstairs and play with anyone on Wi-Fi. That's the only reason why anyone would have picked up Battle Revolution, I think. I pre-ordered it, though, so I got duped by it.
Oh, poor thing.
Well, I hope you're happy. Now I got to spend money on Black 2.
But speaking of Pokemon Stadium, that game was sweet.
Oh my god, I have a story.
One thing I actually really liked... Oh, go ahead. Actually, tell your story. And then I'll talk about my stuff.
I got to the Elite Four, and I got to the very end, and I was like, I just beat it, but before it saved, and some little kid comes up, he's like, I want to play, and he tries to plug in the controller, and by getting a grip on what happened to be the power button, and he just like, he pushed the controller in while pulling back on the power switch, and it pulled it off.
Wow.
I completely and I tried so hard to beat the Elite Four.
Why is there a kid in your house?
It was at my cousin's house.
Okay. So it was your cousin, but you're just calling him a kid because you're still angry at him?
Actually, I don't... No, it wasn't my cousin. It was some... It might have been my cousin's brother. I don't remember who exactly it was. That's why I referenced it as kid, because I don't remember who it was.
Right. I remember playing that game, like, in... I think it was Kmart or something. I don't know if you guys had, like, a 64 station, like, set up at, like, a store, but we definitely had a 64 set up. And for the longest time, it had Pokemon Stadium in it. And kids would... It was two-player, so basically kids would just go into, like, the quick versus mode, and they would fight each other. And then whoever lost would just single file, would switch out. And none of these kids even spoke to each other. It was like an unspoken rule. We're like, okay, everyone just stood in line. Whoever loses, leaves. Next person walks up, plays. Next person walks up, plays. It was really weird. Like, these kids weren't even, like, smiling. Clearly, we were all having fun, but nobody wanted to show each other what it was, that we were having a good time. Like, parents would just...
really weird.
I remember my mom would, like, come and, okay, I have to go, I have to buy groceries, or I have to buy pants or something. So she'd just drop me off at the 64, come back and get me whenever we were done. And that's what all the parents did, because I had Pokemon Stadium. They knew we weren't going anywhere. And they had that for Pokemon Snap, too, actually, which was less, you know, weird, because it was a one-player game. But Pokemon Stadium was, I mean, it was more than just putting your Pokemon in there. Like, even if you don't have any other Pokemon games and just have Pokemon Stadium, I think it's not the greatest game, but I think it's fairly solid.
Mini games, bro. The mini games.
The mini games are really awesome.
They're fun.
Despite the fact that I suck at all of them and I never win, they were still a lot of fun. And like, I still bust that out, like, at parties. The Pokemon Stadium mini games, like, they're fantastic. Like the sushi one, I'm probably one of the worst at, because you have to, like, memorize what all the different sushis do and which ones are more expensive.
I love the guy in the background. He's like, "What's up?"
Yeah, it's awesome.
I don't even know what he's saying, but
I don't know what he's saying either. Just like phonetically, I just like
yeah, "What's And then there's the Magikarp one.
Oh my god, it's like the best thing.
Yeah, with that one, that and the Kakuna Metapod one, I spent like, I think, like, seriously 3 hours on each of them until I perfected, like, exactly when to do it. Like, I always won after that night. Just, I perfected both of them, and I could ace them so well. It was awesome.
Those games are actually, like, pretty original, though. Like the Drowsy one, where you have to you tap A right when the metronome is in the middle, because all the Drowsies are trying to put each other to sleep.
That one was tough, because, like, you didn't get a lot of feedback.
No, it was really delayed feedback. It was like,
yeah,
because you'd only start to see it after like a couple, probably like 5 or 6 seconds or something.
Mm-hmm.
But you could, I mean, if you started losing, you basically lost. But you could sometimes still pull together. I really liked Rattata Run too.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
But the problem with that game is that everybody, it wasn't hard, so pretty much everybody was like, it would tie all the time.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I really liked about Pokemon Stadium was that you could, whenever you beat the Elite Four, you could get a Pokemon. You could get one of the starters.
Yeah.
You could get, I think it was the starters, and maybe an Eevee even, or maybe a Meowth or something. It was weird. Do you remember that, GameGod?
Were you not listening towards my Elite Four story? You think I really could face the Elite Four after that?
So you didn't beat the Elite Four, is what you're saying?
No, I'd never
Okay.
I'd never reaped the benefits. I beat it. I never reaped the benefits.
Oh, okay. I remember doing that, just to, like, beating the Elite Four like twice, so I could get all 3 starters in the original Pokemon. Oh, and I had the Doduo and Dodrio mode, where you could play your game on the TV 2 or 3 times as fast, which was amazing.
With those kick-ass borders.
Yeah, I know.
But
those were in the Super Game Boy. If you play it on a Super Game Boy, you get those as well.
Yeah, but you don't have the speed.
Yeah, the speed was so helpful.
It's really good for grinding. That's all it was really good for.
I don't remember the speed.
Yeah, there's Dodrio mode and Duo and Dodrio. I don't remember how to get Dodrio. I think we only got it once because it was difficult. But
here, I'm gonna look this up real fast. Hold on, I'm looking up what you have to do. I only remember doing Duo, so that makes me think that you have to do a specific thing to get Dodrio, because that does sound like something that would be a pretty cool unlockable thing.
Maybe I'm
you have
imagining.
to get Dodrio, you have to complete Pokemon Stadium Round 1. So you have to beat the Elite Four to get it.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it's not that difficult.
Yeah, just what you want to hear.
That was pretty sweet though. Like I don't know, that game's pretty solid. And one thing I thought was really cool too is whenever you transferred your Pokemon over, if they had nicknames, then their colors would change. So I remember naming all my Pokemon really weird things. So you'd have like a yellow tinted Snorlax, and I had a red tinted Pidgeot and stuff.
Yeah, that was cool.
I'm doing a playthrough of Leaf Green right now, and I'm naming all my Pokemon wacky names.
And I never got the second one. Did you guys get the second one?
Pokemon
Yeah, my
Stadium
sister.
2?
Yeah.
Yeah, my sister won that one. WB had a contest, and we both actually won WB contest. I won a see-through Game Boy Color Atomic Purple and like X-Men Wolverine's Rage. I ended up giving away the Game Boy Color to one of my cousins because he didn't have one. But I won that, and my sister won Pokemon Stadium 2, and she actually exchanged it for I think girly stuff. I was so mad because we already had it, but I wanted 2 copies for double the storage space. But so yeah.
What I haven't played that one like ever, and I've never seen any footage on it. So is it comparable to Pokemon Stadium 1? Like it has like mini games and stuff, or
Yeah,
Yeah, it's got mini games.
Yeah, I really liked the Academy mode. I remember spending a lot of time on that. That's where it actually teaches you like some advanced concepts of Pokemon battling. It's really cool.
All I ever played was the mini games. So my friend's been borrowing that game for the past like 2 years. So you know.
Well,
yeah, it's pretty pricey, which is why I don't have it because it was pretty late. It was like 2001 over here, so
yeah.
the GameCube was like right around the corner, or had already come out. I'm not sure the exact date, but yeah, I definitely want to play that one.
Yeah, it's good.
And what else? Pokemon Snap on the 64 was it's really really good, and I think even if it wasn't Pokemon, it would still be good. Just the concepts are really interesting. I think where you have to. I mean, it's not just taking pictures. Like you have to figure out how to get specific shots and figure out. Okay, well, if I throw this apple or whatever over here and hit this one Pokemon, it'll go over here and use a fire attack, and it will cause this other Pokemon to come out or whatever. And because it was on rails, you were really restricted in how much time you could spend in a certain area. So it was really frantic because you couldn't look in all directions all the time. So there could be awesome Pokemon right behind you, and you don't know until you go around next time. I remember like trying to figure out how to do some really cool things. Like I remember getting at one point you can get Pikachu to like ride an Articuno, like in the caves.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Wow.
But if you take a picture of it, I don't think you get much because it's 2 Pokemon. You need just 1.
That system was so messed up. Like the things. Oh man, that was so oh man, that system was weird. Did you guys ever print out any of your pictures on at like Blockbuster, where you could take your game cartridge and pay like $1? You could like print something.
No,
the Pokemon print stations.
No, I don't think I had them where I lived.
Oh.
But that sounds really cool. But
I didn't have Pokemon Snap till Virtual Console, so.
Yeah, I didn't get it until much later, and I think it might have been like $2 for one picture. So I don't think I've ever actually did that with like the Stadium games, which also have picture capabilities. But I always found those to be really cool, and I've been trying to find like a location of one for a couple of years. Like if some guy just like bought one or something, and, I don't know, could make tons of money off of people bringing their cartridges and stuff.
I wouldn't say tons, but you could probably make it. You could probably make a little bit of dough.
Yeah,
I got rich off that actually. That's what I do for a living.
That I don't know. Like I find Pokemon Stadium is. I find a lot of the Pokemon games are really. They're kind of. What's the word I'm looking for? They're not
magical.
No, they're not pushed aside. You know what I mean? They're not given a chance by people who don't really like Pokemon. because they think they're all bad and just knockoffs. But most of the Pokemon knockoffs are actually really good. Like Pokemon Snap is actually a good game, and like
Yeah.
Pokemon Puzzle League is actually a good game. But I mean that game's kind of weird though because of all the voices they threw in there.
God damn, yeah, I said that in the review. I love the music, and I like the. I actually have the To Be a Master CD. I don't know if you guys have that Rockin'
I
Tunes.
have that.
I jam that out in my car.
Does your copy, when you like put it in Windows Media, are all the songs in like Spanish? Like all of mine have Spanish names. It's really weird.
I just play mine in my car CD player.
Yeah, same.
Was that
but
is that the very
yeah,
first CD?
I
Or
think so.
or
Like, To Be a Master.
no? I found the first movie soundtrack at like
it's not that.
like my mom's boyfriend's house, which makes no sense because he's never had kids and never has kids over, but he happens to have that CD. He's like, I have no idea where that came from. You can have it. So I took it, and man, that is a terrible CD.
Oh yeah.
All the songs
I
in the first
looked at the
movie are
song list.
awful.
They're all pop. They're all like late
like
90s
Britney
pop, right?
Spears and like I think there's probably like Backstreet Boys in there and stuff.
M2M, dude, Don't Say You Love Me. Check out the music vid.
The only ones I actually like, well, I like Vacation by Vitamin C because that song was so big I can't help but like it. And they had the Brother My Brother one where the Pokemon are slapping each other in the movie.
Yeah.
That's a heartbreaker right there.
Yeah,
I like the Pokemon a lot in the sequel by Weird Al Yankovic. That's pretty funny.
Oh yeah, Pokemon, yeah.
Pokemon, yeah.
So you guys both like Puzzle League though, right?
Oh yeah, Puzzle Challenge more than Puzzle League, but yeah.
Challenge is the
You saw my
game.
review of it. You know what I think.
That was a long time ago, man.
You remember, dude. You watch my videos all the time.
I remember you doing a review on it, but I don't remember what you said about it.
In a nutshell, it's good.
It's good, but the voices are annoying. But honestly, okay, if they didn't have the Pokemon voices and all like the really cheesy, terrible catchphrases, I probably wouldn't play it. Because my fiance and I play all the time, and all we do is like make fun of it, like constantly. Like I got my 64 shipped out here a couple weeks ago, and we've played that probably like 10 times, like every second night. She's like, "Let's play Pokemon Puzzle League," and it's just, I don't know, it's hilarious. All the like Gary is such a jerk in that game. Every time like he wins, he's like, "Too good for you."
Dude, they all are, man. They like, oh my god, I legit rage. So when I play those games when I was little too, even today I probably could. Like they just, I remember recording footage for that episode actually, and one of the things I think it was Blaine. It literally took me an hour to beat him. If you'll notice, like the footage that's like very hard mode, it took me an hour to beat him, and that was an hour of swearing at the screen and just all around like
and
pissed.
him saying, "When you're hot, you're hot."
Yeah, when you're hot, you're hot.
When you're hot, you're hot. I loved. We always pick always pick the most annoying Pokemon possible. So we pick like Dugong and Jolteon and Marill I love picking the Pokemon that just have like super manly grunts as their calls, like most of the rock ones or like Nidoking and something.
Yeah,
because you're just fighting each other. All here's like,
yeah, basically.
Yeah, in the Game Boy Color version, it would do their Game Boy cries, so that
man,
got super annoying.
There's
like
a Game Boy Color version.
Oh yeah, Pokemon Puzzle Challenge. It's like it. I mean, it has like all the charm of like the N64 one with the anime. The Game Boy Color one pretty much draws off of like Gold and Silver. Oh yeah, it's based kind of around Gold and Silver as well, instead of I don't know the Kanto League. But yeah, there is, and it's like more focused on like the Game Boy type aspects of Pokemon. But it's extremely good, and you should really get on that immediately. It has like
I'll get it if I see
it has mode or something.
One other one that I played and I actually kind of liked was Hey You Pikachu. Okay, and I'm gonna say, okay, this isn't a good game. I admit that, but
never played it.
Did you ever play it, AJ?
I rented it, and the voice recognition was so god awful that I probably played it for like 2 days and gave up.
I really wanted to play it.
Okay, the voice recognition isn't the best, but I don't think it was terrible. I don't know. I thought it was kind of fun. It's like pretty much the prequel to Pokemon Channel. So
Yeah, that's what I kind of figured when I saw it.
I don't know. It was weird, but it was interesting. Because I mean, back then, like kids. I mean, I wasn't one of these kids, but kids were like, "Oh, I wish I had a Pikachu." And here you go. Now you can have a Pikachu with that. If you speak really clearly and say all the words perfectly, he might listen to you sometimes.
Dude, it was the commercials. Like the commercials took me in. I think I have one of the movies where like the commercial is one of the previews to it. It's you just watch that commercial. You're like, man, I need myself a Pikachu.
I mean, if I were to choose a Pokemon to be like in the real world, it wouldn't be Pikachu. I don't know what I would choose, but it wouldn't be Pikachu.
Yeah, I never got the Pikachu hype, really.
Vanillux.
That would be a Pokemon to have one in real life.
I don't know, honestly. I'd probably eat it.
If it produced infinite ice cream, that would be amazing, and I'd consider Vanillux.
That's its babies.
I feel like if you could like strategically pick one of the Pokemon that has like a ridiculous power, like if you read like the stats of the Pokemon, like some of them are like, Torchic can blow fire that's like 10 billion degrees, and you're like, okay, well I guess you could, use that and basically make it like a steam power plant just with him. Or like the electric ones always have like 10 billion volts of power as well. Like they're crazy. Yeah, this water Pokemon can blast like 6,000 liters of water. Like that makes a lot of sense. If you guys, I mean, I don't think there's any other games. Actually, okay, Pokepark Wii. Have you guys played those ones?
No.
I actually kind of want them. The Pokepark games. I don't know about you guys, but maybe
you know what? Can we go back to that real life Pokemon thing for a second? I actually choose none. I don't want a Pokemon in real life. That'd be kind of scary. They all look really scary in real life.
Well, some of them kill people. Like all the ghost ones, like they kill like real people. And if you read the descriptions and stuff, some of them like steal people's souls and drowsies eat your dreams. And
maybe we should just keep fantasy and fantasy.
Okay, but if you had something like a Caterpie, like there's not much threat there.
Caterpillars. I don't like those. Caterpie's modeled after one of those big green chunky caterpillars. It's disgusting.
They're cool.
Oh, they look so.
They're all squishy.
Oh my god! I never want to touch them. Slimy caterpillars, gross.
They're not slimy.
And yet, I have snakes for pets. Well, I did. I need to get more.
Yeah, but I don't know why, but does this Pokepark interest you guys at all?
I've never even heard of it. What is that?
It's you play.
It's a mini game. It's like have you heard of? It seems like Captain Rainbow only with Pokemon.
Is it that one like?
Wii game.
Is it that one WiiWare thing where you can like dump all your Pokemon into this like place?
No, that's Rumble or Pokemon Rumble.
No, that's Pokemon Ranch, I think. That's the one that
many.
The storage one that you just store your Pokemon and they look like little origami thingies.
Oh, right. The Pokemon Rumble also looks like that.
Did you guys ever have like the Pokemon box or whatever for GameCube?
No,
that's expensive as heck.
That's
so
the stupidest game ever. It's like one of the most expensive GameCube ones, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like $100.
Whoa, damn! I think my friend has that. I should try to steal it from him.
It's I don't know. It seems kind of really stupid to me. Like it's cheaper.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's cheaper to just buy another Pokemon game and store them in there. It's kind of weird. But yeah, Pokepark. Anyone's got Pokepark and doesn't want it, send it my way because it's really weird. You play as Pikachu, and I don't know. It kind of seems like the next like step in the Hey You Pikachu Pokemon Channel series, kind of.
Yeah.
Like this Pikachu, you can do that in Mystery Dungeon.
Yeah. I'll pass on that.
Yeah. No.
I'll pass on that. Thanks. So I asked you guys yesterday or the day before. Pokemon Dream Team.
Okay.
Did you come with the list, you guys?
I did. It's not a very like conventional team, but I do have a list of some of my all-time favorites that I've used before. Charizard's my all-time favorite Pokemon. Charizard is just fire's my favorite type.
And of course.
Same here and same here.
Of course, you kids are all the same. My brother was saying, "Oh, fire's the coolest." I bet you guys had Gyarados too, and Alakazams.
And Houndoom.
Yeah,
Oh, and
you guys and your
Okay, can I name my team? Please,
No,
you're naming
no.
all my Pokemon.
is that
No, that's not.
okay? I found there's a certain type of person, which is really funny actually, because my brother. I will get back to that, but my brother had Pokemon Red and I had Pokemon Blue, and then my brother had Pokemon Gold and I had Pokemon Silver, and he would always choose like the cheapest, like strongest Pokemon. So he'd have like Charizard, he'd have Gyarados, he would have Alakazam, and then whenever I met my fiance, and I was like looking through her games, I was like, you have every opposite Pokemon game that I have. You have Red and you have Gold, and I started looking at her Pokemon. Hey, look what she has: a Gyarados and a Charizard and an Alakazam, and I'm like, That's just really weird. You guys had like the same Pokemon, and despite the fact that we didn't know each other growing up, we both had the opposite games. Worked out pretty well. But anyways, back to your dream team there.
Okay, let's see. Groudon, Rayquaza. Okay, no. Okay, next up, Exploud. I hear he's not a great Pokemon stat-wise, but he looks freaking cool. Do you guys know about Exploud? He was in Gen 3.
Nope.
Yeah, I used to call him the macaroni Pokemon. I don't know why. It looked like he had like macaroni sticking out of him or something.
Yeah, dude, he looked like. I thought Loudred looked pretty beast. I didn't know he had a third form, and when I found out about it, I'm like, dude, I want that Pokemon.
Oh yeah, I know who that is.
He's all around awesome. Okay, this one, you guys are gonna roll your eyes probably, but I mean, Mewtwo is like the quintessential legendary.
Okay, I should have said no legendaries, but I didn't. So go ahead.
Honestly, like I just put him on here because I use him a lot. When I was a kid, this one I don't actually use. It is a legendary, but I don't use it. But it is one of my favorite Pokemon, and it's Registeel because I think the Regis are like the coolest legendaries, which is why Regigigas, like I was so hyped up for that, and it pissed me off that it was like, I mean, it had like slow start, which gave it crappy stats for the first 5 turns, and it was like it looked pretty stupid, and I just hated it. Vanillux, obviously. I mean, come on. I think it's even got like a little cookie or a straw sticking out of its head.
A spoon, I think. I don't know, straw or spoon or something.
Yeah, something like that. Togekiss. I don't know if Togekiss is like really good stat-wise, but like I used it and it was a freaking beast.
Yeah, mine was fine. Oh, I didn't have Togekiss. I had Toga...
Tick?
Togetic was pretty awesome.
Yeah, like I remember trying to get the Togepi to evolve. It needed so much happiness. Like I don't know if it took you guys a long time, but it took me forever to evolve that thing.
I don't remember. Despite the fact that I think I just did it like in Soul Silver.
Yeah, and I know that was my 6th Pokemon, but my runner-up was Snorlax because it's just like the tankiest of the tanky tankers.
That'd be the worst Pokemon to have in real life, though. Because you wouldn't be able to feed it, like ever.
I'd sleep on it.
And it would roll over and kill you.
Why is it whenever like someone's next to a Snorlax, the Snorlax is like inclined to roll over on top of the person?
Yeah, I know.
Because anime, that's why. Same reason whenever they're surprised, they fall over and stick one leg up. So my Pokemon Dream Team is... this is a team I came up with probably 4 years ago because I felt like drawing Pokemon, so I was like, which Pokemon do I think are cool? So the first one is probably the best one, which is Tyranitar, because I had a Tyranitar the first time I went through Silver, and he's a beast. So
he is beastly.
And all the rest are from first gen. I have Jolteon, because he's my favorite of the evolutions.
The one you never got.
The one I never got, but I had the cards, and the cards were cool.
He's very fast. He's the fast one.
And I always really liked Pidgeotto. I don't know why. He's like super plain, but I really like Pidgeotto.
Yeah, he's cool.
Butterfree, because I always used Butterfree. He's Psychic Bug, and I don't know. You could get him really early on, which is probably why I always used him as a kid. Dugtrio, because Dugtrio is just awesome. I always loved Dugtrio. And my last one, which is my favorite Pokemon ever, which I've never heard anybody ever say this is their favorite. Kingler. I don't know why I like Kingler, but I don't know. I just find him really cool, and the fact that anytime I picture Kingler, I just because you know how he shoots hyper beams out of his claws. I always
Yeah.
pictured
Yeah,
him just like grabbing a Pokemon by the head and then using hyper beam and blowing it off. That's
That's
what
violent.
I'm sure they do it in the manga,
We'll have to see.
but that's my Pokemon dream team.
They
Mostly
are now.
mostly first gen and mostly pretty plain, but they're ones that I really liked growing up.
So, my team, I'll go ahead and do it. I decided to go with the theme, and this, like, seriously, I thought about this last night before anything, and I decided to go with the fire team, which is which I find really funny now. But anyways, the 6 I have on there, Charizard, we already explained, he's basically the best ever, right?
The Charizard in Ash's Charizard is amazing. I love Ash's Charizard.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome. That's probably why I like it so much. I just like how I like in like all the movies, Ash's
He's
Charizard
such a
is
jerk. I love
wrecking
him.
it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in like the movies, he always comes and like kills everything. Oh my god, he's awesome. And then so Charizard, I got Arcanine and Houndoom. Arcanine, I actually didn't like until I played Black 2, because if you evolve a Growlithe at level 46, that Growlithe will learn in that time. You can get him to learn Outrage, and also mine has like Extreme Speed and a couple other moves. And basically, he's just a beast. He has like an amazing move set. So I like him for like the competitive aspect. Then Houndoom, I just always really like the design of him. I like Houndour, I think, actually has a slightly better design, in my opinion, because he has like the skull on his head, and it's pretty cool. Kind of like the Cubone thing, but the Cubone's not fire. So then the other ones I had, I think I had let me think of other fire types that are really cool. Oh, Ninetales I had just because it's like psychic and fire, and I just find that a really cool combination that you don't really see too much. Then I have let's see. Oh, I had the Chandelure one. The
What?
Chandelier.
What's that?
It's like a chandelier that just has candles on it, and
That's
I
from
don't
Black
know,
and
I-
White Gen, isn't it?
yeah, it is. It's a chandelier.
You
Like,
can just
Candle.
tell.
I feel like eventually, like originally, it made a lot of sense. They're like, oh, okay, so the Pokemon are like built off of real animals, and then now they make it seem like, oh, clearly we built chandeliers based on these Pokemon. Like it doesn't make any sense. Anyways, sorry.
It's okay. Then the other two, I believe I had I had Ho-Oh down. I'm actually more of a Lugia guy, but I can't deny Ho-Oh is pretty awesome as well. And Sacred Fire is like the only reason why I'm putting Ho-Oh on here. I just think I think that and Aero Blast are like my top 2 favorite moves, probably, just because of how cool they looked in game and in the anime. They're just awesome to look at. And then for my final one, oh yeah, the final one actually isn't a fire type, but I convinced myself that they can learn Fire Blast. It's Dragonite, totally, because
Oh yeah, that was
in-game-
another cheap one that my brother and my fiance both had. Of course,
yeah,
they had
Dragonite.
Dragonite.
Yeah, because I like in the games you can max it and like attack. Then you just use Dragon Dance, and you can sweep with Outrage. It's a lot of fun.
Freaking Dragonite's the only dragon family in the original 150.
Yeah,
Well, the name kind of gives it away.
Well, I mean, like the only dragon type.
I thought.
So like,
Oh yeah, was it Dragon in the original, or did they make it normal? I forget.
I think
I
it was
thought maybe
dragon
they
in the
made it
original.
normal. Oh really?
Isn't Gyarados flying dragon?
No, he's flying water for no reason at all. I guess to make it so I guess water and dragon might be a little OP, especially for like Gen 1. So they decided to make it flying so it would have more resistance towards grass, but electricity would wreck it. I guess it's just from the game.
You guys want to know a funny little bit of quirky trivia?
Shoot.
The Pokemon Venomoth?
Yep.
You know how like flying Pokemon can't be hurt by ground attacks?
Mhm.
The funny thing about Venomoth is it can, because it's like, I think, bug and poison, and its ability isn't levitate, so it can still be hurt by like things like Earthquake, even though you can see it flying.
That's ridiculous. Well, it's ridiculous how like half the flying Pokemon don't even like they can't even like how does a Geodude fly?
Dude, it's a rock.
How does a
Rocks
Gyarados fly? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Those little things on its cheeks.
Like, all these Pokemon just float around for no reason. Like, how many Pokemon actually use their wings? Like, just the ones that are based on birds. And maybe, like, Scyther. Like, the birds and the bugs. But there's tons of Pokemon that just hover for no reason whatsoever. It doesn't make any sense.
Too good.
Did you guys ever play, ever try to... if you just type in like, can you name 150 Pokemon?
Yes.
Have you ever done that? Have you beaten it?
I've gotten really close, but I always end up like forgetting some.
They give you 12 minutes to name 150 Pokemon, and you're like, no problem, 12 minutes. That's so much time.
Yeah.
It is not a lot of time to name.
There's just like, but there's
Pokemon.
so many. Like you forget families. Like you know all of them, but you can't like pull every single one out of your brain.
Yeah, my fiance and I tried to do it the other day. Not the actual game that's timed, but we tried to just name all the Pokemon, and there's always something stupid like Lickitung that gets you.
Yeah, that and a lot of the ones I had trouble spelling too.
Yeah. That's why we didn't actually use that game, because the spelling is like you get stuck on spelling all the time.
Yeah, but that has some leniency, but yeah.
So with that, we actually at my university, it was really cool. We had a night like 2 months ago where basically they like rented out a room and you could go in there and there was trivia on just the first generation of Pokemon. They gave you a list, which really helped, but they scrambled it so you'd have to like hunt down and stuff. And they would ask you like 20 questions based on Pokemon, and within the 20 questions, all 151 Pokemon would be they would meet the criteria for them. So it would be like, what are the 3 starters and their evolutions? What Pokemon don't evolve? What Pokemon use evolution stones, etc. And I got 135 out of 151, and the winner got 143 out of 151.
Yeah.
And it's really hard. I actually have the quiz on my hard drive. I can send it to either of you guys or whatever in the description.
Yeah, I'd like to try that.
But it was really fun.
Try my hand.
I'd be down for trying that. I'd probably do terrible. Like, as much as I like the games, I wasn't. I didn't like read up on all the lore and everything, because there's a lot of stuff they probably ask you that's kind of weird. But yeah. So I guess we should start wrapping things up. Is there anything else you guys want to say about Pokemon? I mean, we covered quite a bit. We didn't cover the later gens, but to be honest, I'd actually like to play the later gens, but Pokemon games just don't go down in price. And every year, I'm like, the game seems worth less and less to me because it's older and older, but the price stays the same or goes up, and I'm less and less inclined to play it. So,
admittedly, I thought that, but Black 2, all of the content you get in that game, it surpasses most every $60 game out there on the market right now in terms of content.
If I were to play one of the DS ones, though, I'd probably play Black, because Black doesn't have... It has, like, all new Pokemon, which would be interesting to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I picked it up. But, yeah.
But, I mean, like, I'd like to play, like, some of the GBA ones, but they're still sitting at, they're sitting at... I don't know what they're sitting at. Like, probably like $30 or something.
Yeah, they're expensive.
It's too much. It's too much in my
emulators, dude. Emulators.
Illegal.
They don't make any money off of it, and they're never ever going to release them again.
This
for less than,
conversation is off track, man.
Well, admittedly, if you buy them used, the devs don't get anything.
Yeah, it doesn't like help them at all.
And I'm far more for supporting emulation than I am for supporting GameStop or EB Games, whatever you have down there.
So, anything else about Pokemon?
Yeah, piracy.
Really though, like the toys I thought were pretty cool back in the day. Like the Burger King chain toys. Like there were 60 toys, which I've never seen anything like that. And I think I managed to only get like 25 of them. Then they also had like the balls you could get with the gold cards in them.
I don't remember that.
Did you guys ever get those like little? They had like this. I don't know if this is what you were talking about, but they had like the stands, and you could like have these like cards. Like
that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, dude. Oh, I remember those. I had so many. Those are so awesome. Some of them made like little noises. Some of them had like little lights. Oh my god, I still have them too.
Oh, you mean like the 3D cards? Yeah. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
talking about gold-plated ones, but I think the
those
3D
too.
cards came with. Yeah,
Yeah, well, the gold plated ones you had to ask for, like specifically. I think
yeah.
they costed like money. They were kind of like well, you know. But yeah, dude. Oh my God. Yes, yes.
I
McDonald's used to have good toys.
I kind of remember what I kind of think I know what you guys are talking about, but
Dude, I need to pull up pics.
I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, the toys. Did you know anybody that had the Pokédex? I wanted one of
I
those.
had
Yes,
it.
I still have it. I still have it.
I still have mine.
Look at you guys.
My
Pokédex.
sometimes, dude. Sometimes I used to keep mine like in the top drawer of my like clothes chest, and like sometimes it would turn on for no reason, like in the little beep beep beep. beep. I hear it. I'm like, is my Pokédex haunted?
Because Dex wanted you to play.
Yeah. Did you guys ever get the keychain? Like, they were little Pokeballs on keychains, and they just had little Pokemon figurines in them. And you'd press a button, and like the Pokeball would open up with the Pokemon. And it
Yeah,
would
there's a
just
lot
be
of
like
things
little Pokemon in
like
chain.
there's a lot of things like that, dude. Look at that link, and that's what we're talking about. There's a lot of things like that. I remember they had like a lot of Pokemon toys, like Master Balls and stuff. And you get like little, like rubbery Pokemon. Yeah, I had a lot of little stuff like that. I loved little Pokemon trinkets and stuff.
Yeah, looking at this picture, I do not know what this is.
Oh my
Yeah, I
God.
I've never
remember
seen that
those.
before. Maybe we didn't have them in Canada, or maybe I don't know.
You
Yeah, there
idiot.
was an accident with those little kids over here. Apparently, choked themselves to death with like the Pokeballs or something. So maybe the U.S. got them before Canada. Then they just canned everything in Canada. So
Maybe.
I don't know.
But dude,
That sucks.
those things remind me of childhood.
Yeah,
I don't think I had any toys. I know I had a Blastoise pencil topper, and that's about it. Oh, and I also had actually, okay, I remember. I did buy a couple figurines from this little kid on my bus, had like these little figures, and one of them was a Gengar, but he was like clear purple plastic. He was like the coolest thing ever. So I was like, I'll give you $1 for that. And he's like, okay, sure.
did he
Fuck.
light up? Like, did his eyes light up?
No. He was really small. He was like maybe like an inch or maybe 2 inches tall, but he was completely clear, and I don't know. I thought that was the coolest thing ever
Oh, that's cool.
back in the day. But I think other
I had
than
a
that, that was my only toys.
I had a Gengar stress ball. I don't even know how they made that, but okay.
Huh. That's cool.
Yeah.
So, I guess that's all we have to say about Pokemon. Covered
Yeah,
quite
so.
quite a bit, and I'm sure that we could probably go on for like another 3 hours because we only covered 2 of the generations, and then a couple of the movies, and like 1 season of the show, and then some of the cards. So
Yeah.
we could keep going, but we're not going to. So I want to thank both you guys, ZeldaGameGod and ONLYUSEmeFEET, for coming out and chatting with me today. It's always fun.
Always
Yeah.
a pleasure.
Yep, totally.
All right, and this has been Silvermongoosevideos. Remember, classic gaming never gets old.
Ponycast.
Ponies.
Ponies,
Rainbow Dash Pants.
ponies,
Ponies.
ponies,
Ponies.
ponies, man.
Ponies. Ponies.
Pony.
Twilight Sparkle. Pony.
Pony.
Pony music video. Ponies. Happy console gamer.
Pony.
Bronies.
Ponies.
Bronies.
Friendship.
Ponies.
Kids and your ponies.